No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.
Hello my little ninjas, my name's Mike, this is my YouTube page, Mox News, and welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. So everything got shifted around. I'm trying to make sure everything is in the right place. Right now, I'm trying to make sure that there's a big fat bong hit in the right place, which belongs in my big fat lungs. So I'm a little off today. I had a really hard time watching the news. I worked in the garden a little bit, which was nice. I had a couple finishing touches I wanted to put on it before it was actually ready, film quality ready. So I think we're there. I'm going to start working more on filming. Hi, Jackie Cat. I'm going to start working more on filming the garden, so hopefully we'll have some nice, lovely cannabis backgrounds in the very near future. Let's see, what else is happening? I did get a few videos for you today. I got one on, I think I have two on Gaza. You know, this, I posted a video last night after the show, after last night's live show. I posted a video about Israel bombing Gaza, and it was titled, Say Hello to the New War Criminal, Same as the Old War Criminal, which is a quote from, I'm not sure who that quote is from, but it goes, say hello to the new boss, same as the old boss. It might be The Who, but I'm not sure that that's where the quote comes from, but they used it, I'm pretty sure. That being said, again, I have a few video clips. I have a couple of really good nature clips. I think one of them about manatees, another about sea snot, which I guess is becoming a big problem, sea snot. And I'm about ready for a bong hit. I hope that you might want to join me in that, because that's always one of the parts of the participation of the audience that I really enjoy. I know when I was on TV forever ago, people would tell me that they would take bong hits along with me. And I always really liked that they would do that. I always really liked that they're like, I'm waiting until you come on television to take a bong hit with you, and I take a bong, and it feels so good, and I really appreciate that. I'm glad that we get to share that. It's one of those things that I wish we could be closer and share, that we could be passing each other. I pass you the bong, you pass the bong back to me. I think that's always a really nice connection that people seem to make with the cannabis. It's one of the really important things. I think it's one of the main reasons they try to keep the cannabis away from us. I always describe the effects of the cannabis as it joining us together. It joins humans together when they use the cannabis. It joins them together. It joins them to the earth, and it joins them to the higher spirit. And this is the last thing the powers that be want. They don't want you connected to the earth, because we have to fill the oceans with sea snot, don't you know? Oh, I have a video about manatees too. And we don't want you caring about the manatees, because, that would be you connected to the earth, and that's just worthless. How is that going to make you any money? Or any of the rich people? If you're connected to the earth, that's going to hamper the rich people from making all the money they want. And that's not the truth, because the rich people can make plenty of money doing other things than just destroying the environment. They could do so much other things to make money. But destroying the environment's the easiest way to make money, in case you don't know it. That's why they destroy the environment just as quickly as they possibly can, because why is nobody stopping global warming? Why is nobody preventing the orcas from dying and the manatees from dying? Because that hampers rich people from making money. Okay? And once we actually begin a project to save the earth, save the oceans, save the manatees, this is going to put a big thorn in the side of rich people. And that's why it's being kept from happening. Oh, let's continue to debate global warming for another 50 years, because people have been debating global warming for over 50 years, in case you don't know it. It's not like a 2010 thing. There's a Time magazine cover from 1968 about global warming. Okay, this has been a debate that's been going on forever, which is why I say the debate on global warming is stupid. It's stupid. And do you know why? Because they're going to go on debating global warming for as long as you keep talking about global warming. They're going to say, oh, well, the environment warms up on cycles and blah, blah, blah. So how do we know this is... Okay, stop talking about global warming. Okay, if you actually want to make a difference in the world, change all the talk about global warming to talk about humans polluting too much. Okay, because any sitting member of Congress who wants to debate whether humans pollute too much or not is probably going to go away in the next election. If they're going to debate it honestly, which, is not likely when it comes to our government. Nothing is done honestly. But if they want to have a debate about pollution and whether or not humans pollute too much, they're going to sound a lot more stupid saying that humans don't pollute too much than they do saying, oh, well, the warming and cooling cycle goes in patterns, and this just happens to be one of the warming cycles, and you watch, it'll be cooling next, and blah. Okay, we don't need to have that debate anymore. Okay, it hasn't gone anywhere in 50 fucking years, more than 50 fucking years. Okay, if you want to save the environment, if you want to save these creatures, I think it's too late to save the manatees. I think it's too late to save the orcas. There's millions and millions and millions of other creatures depending on us to save them. just like the manatees were depending on us. There was news stories about the manatees 20 years ago, along with the orcas 20 years ago, and absolutely nothing has been done to try and save them. Absolutely nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. So at least nothing real. At least nothing that's going to save them. Clearly, you know, if you wanted to save the orcas, if that was a real priority, just as much a priority as making money, and if somehow you equate making money to saving the orcas or the manatees, you're a truly fucked up individual. And I can't wait for you to go and burn in hell. Because making money is not why you came to this planet. And who's ever educated you to believe that making money is why you came to this planet, they're wasting your life. And you need to figure out, money is a lie. Money is a game. Money is this trap that says, oh, you know you need it, which you do, because the world is a fucked up place and you can't survive without it. That being said, you don't have to extinct every living creature on the planet in order to make enough money to live a nice life, to survive, to be able to take a trip once in a while, a nice vacation, to go to a sporting event, to go on a picnic. You don't need to make a lot of money to do that, to enjoy your life. Okay? Because that's why the environment's being destroyed. Because people need to make money. Okay? And again, you don't need to make that much money to go to the movies, to go to a nice dinner, to drive a nice car. You don't need to be making big wads of cash to do any of those things. To live in a nice home. You don't need to be, unless of course your idea of a nice home is a 10-bedroom house with a 100-foot long driveway and, 10 Ferraris sitting out in the driveway. Which is bullshit. It's not going to happen. You can fantasize about it all you like. And do you know where that gets you? That gets you all the animals on the planet extinct. Do you know why? Because you're trapped in this fantasy about one day I'm going to live in a big house. One day I'm going to drive a Ferrari. No, you're not. I hate to burst your bubble. That's not going to happen. You might live in a nice house. You might drive a nice car. But you don't have to sell your soul to do those things. In order to climb up that hill and step on everyone that you have to step on in order to get that 10-bedroom house and those Ferraris, it's worth it, no matter how many manatees you have to kill. Is that right? Because that's the way the super rich look at it. Doesn't matter how many manatees die. Let them all fucking die. What difference does that make to me? I have all the money I need. And if we were to save the manatees, that would probably cost me some money. And I'm not about to spend money on fucking manatees. Is this really where the consciousness of human beings are? Because if that is where the collective consciousness of human beings are, not only is there basically no hope of this species, humans, surviving. No hope, zero. If it's all about money, there's no hope of humans surviving. Not only is it all about that, but humans probably aren't worth surviving, aren't worth saving, because unless they fucking change their ways, what good are they? It's really cool that they make music. It's really cool that they see art in everything, art, music, painting, fashion, even food, art. This is the most fascinating thing about humans. They make music, they paint, they create all these different things that could be called art. But if they kill everything else on the planet in the process, again, you don't have to live in a 10-bedroom house with 10 Ferraris in the driveway in order to create great art. In fact, the majority of great art comes from people not having amazing lives. Because if you have an amazing life, there probably isn't this thing inside you dying to get out. You're probably just going from one stupid fucking event to another and drinking champagne and acting like a fucking twat that you are. But if they say great art comes from suffering, right? So if you have this turmoil in your life and you can't go on to your next party to express yourself drinking champagne and being a big giant twat, you're just struggling to get through life, and you have this thing inside of you that you're trying to get out. You probably have a much better chance of making that happen. You probably have instead of having everything already, instead of having it handed to you on a silver tray, you probably have this angst inside of you that you want to be making something happen, something bigger than you, something bigger than this. That's where great art comes from. Not, oh, I have everything already and I'm going to start a band and we're going to be great. Maybe if your daddy is a record label, that's a good name for a record label, Your Daddy. Somebody should go invent that record label right now. Your Daddy. Is anybody listening here? I'm fucking brilliant in this shit that I'm spewing. Your Daddy Records. Your Daddy. It's a really good name. Let's see. And I keep all the good stuff for me because as far as, here's an idea, your daddy record label. I share a lot of it because there's stuff that I'll never make happen. But, I have these ideas about books and other things, television shows and stuff. And I keep those to myself because if I was to tell you about the book I'm working on in my head, and then I was to see it somewhere, I'd be like, and especially if I was talking about it, I'd be like, oh man, I fucked up. But I tend to stay far away from fucking up as I can because I don't have much room for mistakes. So, that being said, someone say Wilco's in here? I don't see Wilco. Is Wilco in here? Wilco, come out and play. Wilco, come out and play. You want to see the video about sea snot? It's disgusting. Sea snot is fucking gross. I can play that video. But first, I'm going to play this video about Gaza while I heat up my bong. And I just want to point out here, is that these people in Israel, these Israelis, these people that are in charge of blowing up Palestinian babies, they talk about their Iron Dome and how sophisticated it is and what a great defense system it is, right? Meanwhile, the Palestinians are sending balloons over the border, which have some kind of a petrol with them, and then they start fires, right? So the Palestinians are sending balloons over the border, and apparently the great Israeli military-industrial complex can shoot down rockets, no problem, but a balloon? I don't know. That's going to be a tough one. So I thought this is very much worth pointing out. Them acting as if they can't shoot down a motherfucking balloon, but they can shoot down rockets. Suspicious? Huh? I think so.
Israeli airstrikes have hit the Gaza Strip after militants in the Palestinian territory sent incendiary balloons over the border to Israel. A day earlier, more than 1,000 Israeli nationalists marched through occupied East Jerusalem. Now, this was the first escalation of violence since Israel and Gaza's Hamas rulers agreed on a ceasefire back in May.
Airstrikes in Gaza, less than a month after a ceasefire ended the latest round of conflict here. Tension was in the air in Jerusalem throughout the day leading up to the airstrikes. In East Jerusalem, police cleared the streets and arrested Palestinians, while ultra-nationalists and right-wingers gathered near the Damascus Gate to mark the anniversary of what Israel calls the unification of the city in 1967. Protesters felt provoked by the marchers. We came here to protect our land and to show them it's ours and they will not take it no matter what happens. God willing, Palestine will be free. In Gaza, militants prepared their response to the right-wing Israeli rally. We have been launching fire balloons toward the Gaza border all day as a response to the marches that the settlers intend to carry out near the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Damascus Gate. The balloon attacks triggered a swift response from Israel's military, who bombed sites in 2 cities in the Gaza Strip. No casualties were reported from the strikes. Later on Wednesday, a Palestinian woman was shot dead in the West Bank after she tried to attack a group of Israeli soldiers. It's been a testing 24 hours, but the next days will show how committed both sides are to avoiding another war.
All right. So again, I don't see how the Israelis have the technology to shoot down rockets, supposedly, but not shoot down balloons. Does that make sense to anybody? I mean, it's really convenient for them that the Palestinians are sending balloons, which just happen to make it all the way across the border because we don't have any technology that could possibly protect us from balloons. Kind of convenient, right? You know, they send balloons over, the Israelis send over 500-pound bombs. That sounds like proportionally correct, right? I'm feeling much better now. All right, so where were we? Right, not having the ability to stop balloons from coming over the border. Does anyone believe this shit? Isn't it incredibly convenient to be able to fucking say, oh, the balloons are this giant threat to our country, so we have to fucking bomb the shit out of these people back to the Stone Age because otherwise they might send more balloons over the border, right? We can shoot down all their rockets, but we have no defenses against their balloons. Oh my God, we're gonna have to kill them all. This is the planet that we live on, people. I think we could do so much better. It's just that we have the wrong people in charge. We have people in charge that listen to the people who don't give a fuck about the manatees. They have people in charge who listen to the people who don't give a fuck about the orcas. We have leaders who listen to the people who don't give a fuck about our environment. The environment where you get your water for your children, for your garden, for your pets, for you. They don't give a fuck because it doesn't matter to them. They're fucking filthy rich. Our leaders listen to no one but filthy rich people who don't give a fuck about anything because they got theirs and they don't have to worry about you and yours. Not for one fucking second. Okay, so again, our leaders listen to people, don't care about the manatees, don't care about the orcas, don't give a fuck about the environment. Basically, they could care less about you. Humans can go extinct. That's not a problem for them. As long as look, they already have people that they own. Okay? So when the world is destroyed and there's nothing left, they have these slaves, and the slaves will be so indentured that it will be second and third generation slaves who don't even question whether that they're slaves. They just go about, serving these people. Because these people give them a place to live. Look at all the people out there on the street. Here we have, comfortable conditions, and we get food every day, and there's clean water to drink. Being a slave might be pretty good. I'm just saying, this is where we're at. These are the people that our leadership, our representatives, this is who they listen to. Not any of you. Unless, of course, you're one of the super rich, which is not, impossible. At the same time, this is where we're at. And we have all the power. We want to act like the super rich have the power. Do you know why we act like that and they get away with it? Because, again, 90% of the people completely buy into the fantasy that one day they're going to be super rich too. That one day they're I don't know, whatever it is going to make them one of the filthy super rich. It's highly unlikely. Like I said, there's 10% of the people who don't believe that, and the other 90% thinking that are somehow deluding themselves, getting lost in this fantasy about getting their piece of the American dream. If it was all about simply having a simple life where you had plenty of food, and if you wanted to go out to eat or go to the theater, that was not a big deal. You could make that happen. If you needed a new car, you could make that happen. We could make that world for pretty much everywhere, everyone, everywhere. The problem is, that's not our priority. Our priority is to jet set around on, going wherever we want, using up all the carbon we possibly can, spewing out every bit of pollution we possibly can, and in the process, squeezing every single penny we can out of the fucking ants that we step on as we fly by in our private jets. Who wants to be that person? And why? Why would you want to be that person? Do you think those people are happy with this description of stepping on the ants and flying around in their private jets? Do you think they're happy? Do you? I find it very difficult to believe that you could be happy in this planet without a tremendous amount of empathy, which is why I think it should be taught in school. If not in preschool, starting in kindergarten and going all the way through senior year, and then having lots more classes on it in college. In fact, you should be able to get a PhD in empathy so that you can, help people understand more. Because there's always going to be people like the super rich who don't have empathy, who don't understand what it is, and might one day actually want to have a feeling, like that, which would be nice. Again, I find it really difficult to believe that existing on this planet and not caring about anything else except for you and yours, not giving a fuck. I can't see that as any kind of a happy existence. You know what kind of existence that is? It's basically the Walking Dead existence. Where you have this tribe over here and this tribe over here, and you'll kill everything in your way to using up every resource on the planet so that you can have the most power. Right? Not that I'm saying that zombies in that situation shouldn't be killed. What I'm saying is that if we all work together, instead of being this tribe against that tribe, stealing food here and conquering people here, that if it was just one tribe, zombies would never be an issue. We just all get back to back and lay them the fuck out. And rebuild what need to be rebuilt and have smiles on our faces while we did it. Our faces, don't you think? Because we all had each other's back. And what a good, amazing feeling that would be. Why won't our leadership act like that's the way it should be? That they should be listening to, to people who care about the environment and other people's existence. How can we possibly want this leadership? This misled us the whole time. This misinformed us at every opportunity. That has shown that they have zero empathy and zero respect for any form of life on the planet that doesn't have massive amounts of cash. Zero respect, zero empathy, zero care. This is the planet that we live on now. This is the government that we have. Why? All our government does is spread death and destruction. I don't even, there used to be stories on TV where they'd show, the United States did this wonderful thing in this country and so many people are better off for it now. I never see those stories anymore. I see those stories kind of a little bit different way. Well, they'll be, look at this cop in your community, and this cop did this wonderful thing and saved a baby, and it's like, police, how can you not see the heroes that they are? We see this, and again, we used to see those stories on the United States. At least I did. It used to be stories about people in the United States and how they help make these people have fresh water and, I don't see that shit anymore. What I see is, like I said, the stories about the police officers, and it's not just local news, it's mainstream stuff. Both of them, and I think it's a really good comparison. The police officers, the United States. There used to be that the United States would have these stories about them that was like, oh look, the United States is leading the way and showing us what a beautiful, wonderful future we can have, where no one's hungry and there's clean drinking water. I used to see those stories, and I don't see them anymore. And it was like, there may be hope for a better tomorrow, right? The United States, all of us Americans, U.S. citizens, we're leading the world boldly into a better tomorrow. This is who we could feel like. Last week we did a show on, are you proud to be an American? you know, and we could have that feeling about us. I said this, you know, America can be that shiny beacon in the world. Because again, we used to see these stories, whether they were propaganda or not, regardless if they were propaganda, oh, that, you know, this little tiny, you know, 1,000-person community now has water to drink because of the U.S., you know, whether it's just propaganda and it was just show, you know, like this 1,000-people community, not the whole country who's dying of thirst. Even if it would just show, it was important that's who we looked like, even if it was just to U.S. citizens, you know. And the reason it was important was because U.S. citizens could hold their head high. They could hold their head high. They could even point their chins up because we were doing a great job in the world. Because the world is lucky the United States of America exists. You know, and now it's Team America, and everywhere we go is death and destruction. And this is what they're doing with the cops now. And it may not be that now it's Team America. It may have been that it was Team America back then too. It's just it was important that we show these stories so that people could believe that we're better than that. So that the American people could believe that we're better than that. So that the American people could see, oh, see, our government is good. Our government is making wonderful things happen. And that's the other thing that I talk about a lot, is that, you know, I don't want to look at the government as if it's bad. I want to look at the government that allows us to hold our head high, even point our chin to the sky, because we are making great things happen around the world. Those are the kind of cops I want to do. That's the attitude I want to have. I say this all the time. I don't want to think negative things. I don't. I don't want to think negative things about the neighbors. I don't want to think negative things about the environment. I want to see a brighter tomorrow for everyone. And it seems really simple. I mean, we're making it more complicated every day. But I don't think it would be that difficult to head in a better direction than where we are right now. To make a brighter future than where we are right now. So I do believe we could do that. That being said, again, back in the day, it was important to do this where Americans could feel they could hold their head high. And this is kind of where the cops are now. When they show these stories about oh, the cop did this wonderful thing in the community and saved a baby, right? Almost all of those stories, you'll see that they saved a baby. And the reason that I equate these things is because, again, the United States needed to show everyone that they're great. They're making great things happen for everyone. And now the police are in such a shitty state that they have to show, oh no, we make these wonderful things happen in America and in your community. And the United States is like, no, we make wonderful things happen around the world because we're the good people. Hold your head up high. And now it's the police. Oh no, these are the good people. Look at what they did. They saved a baby. So I see very similar things here. And remember, while I'm making this comparison, right? Hold your head up high. Save the baby. While I'm making these comparisons, the step that the United States went from hold your head up high and, you know that America is the good people, went to from, our flag, the U.S. flag, is at half-mast now. From what I can tell, since 9/11, the U.S. flag has been at half-mast like 50% of the time. Okay? I bet you if you go out right now and you look around your community, you'll see the flags at half-mast. this is a sign of great sorrow. And I'll admit, there's things to be sad about, but this thing where the flag is at half-mast for at least 50% of the time since 2001, that thing, that is a psychological attack on the people of this great country. Because again, when the flag is at half-mast, that symbolizes horrible, horrible things in your country, right? There was this horrible event, 9/11 happened, and we have to show, how that touched us all. We lower the flags to half-mast, and maybe somebody doesn't know what happened. And it's so unusual that the flag would be lowered to half-mast that they would say, hey, why is the flag at half-mast? I haven't seen that in years. Why is this happening? They would know this is a very bad sign, and they should probably know what's going on. And they would notice it right away. And it would be important to them to know why. When the fucking flag is at half-mast every other day, or it was half-mast this week, or last 2 weeks ago, and now it's not, and then a week later it's a half-mast again, because this is what's happening. You go and look in your community, you'll see tons of flags at half-mast. Do you know why they're at half-mast? I don't know why they're at half-mast. It used to be important. It used to be this thing that mattered. And now it's this psychological attack on the people. Where I bet most of you, not you in particular, but most of the people in these United States don't even notice that the flags are at half-mast. They've gotten so used to it. It's like, wow, you don't even see it. And again, to me, it symbolizes this really important sign of distress. Bad things, man. And it's not so much that it doesn't still mean that, or it's not supposed to mean that, because every time I see it, I ask all the time, Sam, Craig, why is the flag at half-mast? Because I'm very, informed person, and the flag is at half-mast, and I'm like, I don't ever think about these things ahead of time. I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about the flag at half-mast. I didn't even think about that for 1 second before we came on the air. Okay. These things are truly important to us all. And when you see this sign of great, horrible things, bad things, man, when you see this sign, this symbol of, terrible things have just happened, and you see it over and over and over and over and over, the terrorists, the terrorists, the terrorists, the terrorists, the terrorists. When you see this flag at half-mast, and you get comfortable with it, you get comfortable with them saying, oh, protesters are terrorists. You get comfortable with that word. You get comfortable with the flag being at half-mast. That's an attack. That's a psychological attack. This is why I keep saying that these people in the media, these people in the Congress and the White House, they're the real enemy combatants. They are attacking you. They are attacking our neighborhood. They have a war currently going on for 60, 70 years now in your neighborhood. That's who our government is. And there's bullshit psychological, attacks. Again, this is an attack. When they go on TV and they say, terrorists, 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 the terrorists are coming, the terrorists are coming, the terrorists are coming. That's a psychological attack on the public. Okay? Who's the real terrorist? Who's the one spreading fear? Where are the terrorists? And they go, oh my God, gun sales are spiking. Well, yeah, you've induced as much fear as humanly possible. You've been talking about terrorists forever. Terrorists, they're everywhere. The mad shooters are everywhere. We have to take everyone's guns away. It's so dangerous out there. How can you people not understand this? This is a psychological attack. If you're afraid of your neighbors having guns, and you don't see them, somehow showing you that they're not good people, like if they don't say hi to you, if they give you dirty looks, if they got whatever it is that you notice where they don't seem friendly at all, almost like an adversarial attitude, and you're afraid that they have guns, maybe that makes sense. If your neighbor is just your neighbor and you're afraid because they have guns, that's a psychological attack on you. That's someone getting you to believe that somehow it's dangerous for your neighbor to have the ability not only to protect themselves, but probably to protect you too, if something bad was happening. It's like I keep saying about these open carry laws. If everyone supported these open carry laws, number one, you wouldn't be so, hopefully you get over this fear thing. It's like in the movies, right? The movies are also doing this, or causing this fear. Everybody that you see with a gun in the movies, every single person in the movies that you see with a gun is either about to shoot somebody in the head, to murder someone, kill them. Either anybody in the movies with a gun is either about to kill them or get killed. Every fucking movie. You don't see these guys in the movies and they're fucking flashing their guns and showing that they're ready to kill somebody if they have to. You don't ever see them just do that to flash their guns. They have the guns and they show people using them. Because if they didn't show people using, how exciting would that be? What kind of boring movie? Who the fuck wants to see a boring movie like that, right? And this is how we've been programmed to think. And people don't even realize it. Do you realize that every time in a movie you see someone with a gun, they are either about to kill someone or be killed? Do you know that? Do you think that that's not some type of psychological attack? You think that's just good theater? You think that's good writing? Do you think I have a negative attitude? That's going to be the show title for tomorrow. Maybe Friday. Because I don't think I do. I'm not here talking about there's no hope and the end is near. I keep saying that we deserve better and that we can do better. I don't think I have a negative attitude at all. I think I'm doing my best to help others see the light of what, or at least have a discussion about whether, I'm lost in la la land. Because I'd be good with that. If the end of the world is coming and it's a dystopian police state that we're going to have to go through first, I'd rather be in la la land, where I'm not aware of it and I'm just walking my dog and waving hi to everyone. Because, and I guess that's where people are at, right? If everything, for me, it would just be a matter of, I think it's just that survival of myself is just not that important. When I was making TV back in the day, I would get death threats on a regular basis. And for a little bit, I thought about someone killing me. And it was kind of always entertaining because when I was a kid, I was suicidal all the time. From the age 10, my game is I would think about, 3 different ways that were new that I hadn't thought of before that I could kill myself, right? And I think it's just that I never felt like anybody gets me. Nobody understands who I am. And because of that, they keep trying to make me into something that they understand. So, having thought for, 6 or 10 years, probably 6 or 7 years, about how to kill myself 3 different ways, new ways every single day. The idea of my death is just not that big a deal. And it's not that I don't enjoy life. And I think a big part of what got me over it was probably cannabis had a lot to do with me getting over the suicidal tendencies. It began to help me understand that other people not getting me just isn't that important. What's important is being true to yourself, knowing that you're trying to be the best you can be, not somehow, make it so that people are good with you. I don't care if you're comfortable in being in the same room with me, okay? I really, really don't care. I mean, it's not like I'm going to go out of my way to somehow make you uncomfortable. I'm not going to give you dirty looks. I'm not going to be like, fuck you. I'm not going to do that, I might say hi, which seems to make a lot of people uncomfortable for whatever reason. I don't know where I was going with that. But, right. It's not that I'm going to try to go out of my way to make you uncomfortable. It's just that it's not going to be a big concern of mine whether I'm making you uncomfortable or not. Because, again, I'm trying to be the best me I can be. And the last thing that I want to do while I'm being the best me I can be is somehow hurt people. So if I'm making you uncomfortable, it's not because I'm making you uncomfortable. It's because you're uncomfortable to start. And I'm just bringing it more to your awareness. And I think that's why I strive. I got to this point with the help of cannabis and whatever else. I think there's like a total awareness shift when you start to use good cannabis. When you start to you just see things from a different perspective, in a different light. And so when I started to see things differently, when I started to understand that it wasn't important for people to be happy with who I am, knowing that I'm not in any way going out of my way to make them so that they don't want to be happy with who I am, if they give me a chance. That's the thing. I tell people all the time, I say, I judge people one at a time. I take them as they are. It's even with cops, right? If it's a single cop that you're dealing with, you can kind of judge them as, well, this guy's not, giving me a hard time. I can really appreciate that. But if it's more than one cop, and it's regardless if they're in uniform or not in uniform. If there's more than one cop, they kind of act like they're just looking for somebody to fuck with, looking for somebody to bully, looking for somebody to make sure they know who the boss is, right? And you have to take people as individuals, because otherwise you're missing out. And if I if I don't try and strive to be the best that I can be, the best me I can be, without caring what other people think, which is the only way you can be the best you can be. Then I can't really be judged properly. You understand? If I'm not the best me I can be, then I can't be judged properly by anyone who might be somehow looking down on me, right? And if I can't be judged by them properly, saying, hey, this is who I am and I'm proud of this person, if I can't be that person and know that I'm that person, and then when somebody looks down on me, know that, well, it's not me, it's something negative within them that they want, that somehow I highlight for them. And this is what I do a lot. I highlight. It's not that I'm a negative person, I'm a happy person, and when you come across a happy person, there's a good chance that they may highlight the fact that you're not happy, that you're not as confident as you could be, that you get all of your confidence from your Rolex watch and your $300 dress shirt. It's not that you're a confident person. It's that somehow you look like that, or this is how a confident person looks and dresses and have haircut. So all I'm pointing out is that you highlight these things, but the really important part of you being the best you and being the individual who you are, and going through your life the way you believe that you should. The really important part is that when somebody else looks down on you, somebody who has the right car and the trophy girlfriend and the, $5,000 suit, when that person looks at you sideways, you can know that it's not you, because you're a good person. You make good things happen in the world. You have a smile for everyone, right? You can know that. And you can know that it's not you, it's them. You can know that this thing where they're looking at you sideways, this negativity of wherever it's coming from, whatever it is, it's not you. It's 100% them. And in knowing that, I think you become even stronger in who you are. I think you are actually able to feel a type of joy knowing that this person isn't genuinely comfortable in their own skin, and yet you are. What?
I'm a good person, and people like me, gosh darn it. I'm a good person.
I know you are. That's why I take your phone calls.
You take anybody's phone call. Don't bullshit me. You don't care if it's fucking Habib from Timbuktu.
I'm looking forward to Lucifer calling because I've always wanted to have an in-depth conversation with her.
You're not supposed to talk to the devil, Mike. Didn't they teach you that in Catholic school? You're not supposed to talk to the devil.
Why?
Because he'll deceive you.
Oh, I guess not me, but I can understand how that might be a concern for lots of others.
Yeah. So, I just tuned in. I just got back from beach town where it's nice and cool. And it's about 90 here. It's cooler than it was. And what's going on, man?
I don't know. I can't keep track of this shit.
Yeah. Well, let me click on your thing. You're totally out of it today, Mike. It says so right on the thing.
Well, if you had been paying attention for the last 40 minutes, you'd already know that.
I just walked in that door right now, and I thought you were in trouble, so I'd give you a call, give you a pep talk, tell you you're a good person. I did catch the part about projection. That's what you're talking about, projection.
I don't know. I don't pay attention, man. I'm telling you, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, projection is when somebody's unhappy with their own life or emotions or sense of self, and they project it onto you because you don't fit into their scheme of things, and they're projecting their own shadow work onto you. That's what people do. Almost everybody does it. I mean, and especially in today's climate of identity politics and just identity in general. People haven't got a clue who they are. It's like some homeless people are more in touch with who and what they are than these rich millionaires driving around in Ferraris. You know, it's just it seems to be very common that rich people develop a false identity based upon what they own or what they do or how cute their ass looks in the mirror or how many followers they got on Facebook or whatever. You know, everybody's deceiving themselves. The ego is the veil that separates mankind from the God word, God. So our egos deceive us, you know. So, and when we walk down the street, and like me, I got holes in my shoes and holes in my clothes, and I don't dress up, and I look like a bum, and I don't comb my hair, and people give me weird looks, and little do they know I'm like Superman. I actually can go into a phone booth, turn into a superhero, and do amazing shit that they never even dreamed of because they're stuck themselves in a fucking hole. It's like, I can't do that, and if I can't do it, you can't do it either. I can't be a fantastic person, so you can't be a fantastic person, and guess what? Mr. and Mrs. America, I am a fantastic person. I'm just in disguise here on planet Earth. I'm an angel walking on planet Earth, doing good deeds, being an awesome human being, and fuck you if you can't handle it, you know, if you're outshined by my fucking brilliance.
You're a superhero? Do you know Super Bullshit Tron?
That sounds really familiar. Tell me about it. I heard that thing. I heard that.
Super Bullshit Tron is a regular caller to the show.
I must have missed that guy.
Oh, well.
Is that Steve who changed his name? Oh, what is that?
Super Bullshit Tron calls all the time.
Really? Is he a good caller?
Sometimes.
Because I've found that people that have these weird fucking names, you know, like, you know, man-eater or you know, super Zionist killer or whatever, you know, it's mostly bullshit. So a guy that has a name, Super Bullshit Tron, hopefully is making fun of himself, you know. So, I mean, it's good to have a kind of a little self-depreciating sense of humor. You don't take yourself too seriously. People insult you, you get over it right away, or it just washes off your back like water off a duck. That's the best way. But, you know, I have my own share of bullshit I deal with in this New Age city where there's so much spiritual competition and everybody's saying, I was trained by a Reiki master and my spiritual Kung Fu is better than your spiritual Kung Fu and my guru is better than your guru and I read this book, therefore I am bullshit. So that's the city I live in. There's a lot of fake New Age people running around, and you know, people do it. It's transferable. This lack of shadow work, lack of self-knowledge is transferable from the Mormons to the New Age people to the Catholics to the Jews to the Muslims to the Hindus. Everybody that has an identity outside of themselves is identifying with something outside of themselves, and it's kind of, I seem to have always tried to identify with what's inside of me, like, how do I feel, why do I feel it, boy, I did good, boy, that thing sounds good, or I did a good job today, or man, I'm a good person, you know, try to have a lack of self-deception. That's where I'm at. So I smoked a joint before I went down to Ventura, and I just came back, and you're out of it today. Are you really out of it, or you just ran out of something to talk about?
I've been pretty out of it, dude. I didn't get the trash out in time. I just been like, from the minute I stepped up, I stepped out of bed. I was just like, whoa, what's happening? So I've been kind of out of it, but
Well, it's okay. Your energy goes up and down from day to day. Some days I'm like fucking 25 again and the king of the street and I'm fucking just totally physical. And other days like, oh, the next day I'm usually burned out and oh, I worked too hard yesterday and boy, I feel a lot of pain, you know. So up and down. As long as you're a little bit more emotionally stable than you are physically stable, you're doing okay. I mean, imagine if you or I had some weird-ass disease, physical disease, and we had to deal with that on top of regular old social bullshit and internal dialogue. It's hard enough to keep yourself sane when you got normal problems, but if you got extraordinary problems, then it's even more difficult. Like, what if every one of your neighbors was like the crazy lady next door across the street? Whoever, you know, what if you got 10 neighbors? What if 9 out of 10 of those neighbors are assholes, crazy, yelling? Or fucking up your life, you know.
I would find it very entertaining if 9 out of 10 of the people that lived around me were like the crazy lady across the street. I would find that very entertaining because my guess is they would yell back and forth at each other and they'd have really strange conversations. I mean, she's having strange conversations on her own. If there was 10 more people doing it, I bet they'd just feed off of each other, you know. Craig would be out there live streaming every fucking night. Because when she gets going, he gets out there and like, check this shit out.
Yeah, you could make a political documentary because that's basically the state of politics in America. Crazy Nancy Pelosi is screaming at crazy Trump, who's screaming at crazy Joe from New York City, and crazy man this is screaming at crazy man that, and there's very few voices of reason. And so they're all blaming it on each other. Even AOC, it's crazy AOC doing this, doing that, and then backing out of it. Crazy Bernie saying, I'm going to change America, and then you got to vote for Hillary Clinton. And crazy George Bush is like, we need 1,000 points of light and kinder, gentler machine guns. And crazy, I am not a crook, you know, or I did not have sex with that woman. You know, so that's the state of America. I mean, I think slowly the population, society, the middle class, slowly waking up to the American kabuki theater that is American politics all of our lives, from Nixon to Biden. All of our lives, American kabuki theater. They're crazy people. They don't care about you. They're lying to you, and it's normal now to be smiley two-face on TV, say, oh, I'm going to take care of my people, and then you just take the money and run. You know, it's like, oh, get a house in the Hamptons or somewhere, and you know, Obama's got like a $15 million mansion, and you know, Trump is doing his thing, and Joe Biden is like mumbling and fumbling with the G7, and you know, it's just bullshit. It's all bullshit. And so that, you know, a nation of sheep gets a government of wolves, and slowly we're waking up. But look, man, we're still, the only difference now is we got drones, and there isn't 58,000 people dying in Vietnam, but we're playing the same game. Protest here, protest there. No justice, no peace. All around the world, the same chant. No justice, no peace. Fuck the police. The whole fucking planet's got that chant down now, and we are making a little bit of progress, and they know it, and that's why our information supply is being choked by big tech. You know, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the news channels. You know, you're right by calling them news readers. You can call them, you know, actors. They're just paid actors are reading a teleprompter.
I like to call them news models, honestly, because they fit this role of a model. You know, they're looking for the model that will appeal to this group. You know what I mean? So they're a news model. That's my favorite term for them. Although I call them mostly prostitutes.
Yeah, well, you can call them identity politics spokespersons, like
No, that's
Rachel
too
Maddow.
complicated.
She
Prostitutes. News model. If you understand what it is I'm saying, you know, you don't have to use 6 other words to get lost in it. So, you know, she's an excellent example of a news model. Again,
Right.
she's this person who has been picked because they want to attract this certain audience. So
I can just see Rachel Maddow slipping a Mickey into some cute little blonde-haired girl, and here, come over to my place, and yeah, I'll give you a massage, and drugging her.
I pointed out this about Rachel Maddow and other things, but Rachel Maddow used to, at the end of every single episode of her show, she would, or maybe it was just Fridays, she would roll out this bar cart, right? She had a cart with alcohol on it, and she would make a new drink. Oh, look at this new drink that you might not have known before. And she'd show everybody how to drink it, how to make it, and then she'd drink it. And I kept thinking, you know, here's this, you know, woman that's supposed to be trying to empower women, and yet she's encouraging them to take the #1 date rape drug in the world. And which does make her look kind of like a predator, in my opinion. Anybody who's encouraging women to take the #1 date rape drug in the world looks somewhat like a predator. That being said, she would do this after at least every Friday episode, drink, and at the end of the episode, she'd sometimes share the drink with her last guest. But even more so, they would do like a trailer for the Rachel Maddow show for MSNBC in general, and Rachel Maddow would say her little clip in the reel for MSNBC. Her little quote would be her saying that when she was negotiating her contract, she said that her office had to have a full bar in it. You know, and again, this takes me back to this, you know, date rape drug. And it's just a really strange thing that this woman and it's not just the #1 date rape drug, okay? If you drink alcohol on a regular basis and you are a female, you have a way, way, way higher rate of getting cancer. So we're clear. And if you don't believe it, look it up.
That's how the women got me, was, you know, if a woman's trying to seduce me, just give me a couple drinks and boom, you know, it's like, oh, fuck, I lose my mind, and here I am in another dysfunctional relationship. So, yeah, I mean, I really do not consider Rachel Maddow to be emotionally or psychologically healthy in any way. She does have a predator-type personality, and I don't think she's really capable of a really high-quality, functional relationship. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. She just doesn't seem authentic to me.
Oh,
it's like,
really?
This is the way I am. I'm going to push it on you people, and my opinions are correct. Except, you know, she's fact-resistant. She's completely fact-resistant.
She's a propagandist. She went to fucking Iraq in the middle of the Iraq War, and they had little fucking campfire kumbaya sessions. Okay? She's a fucking propagandist, just like all the fucking other prostitutes.
Oh, I never saw that. What year was that? Which Iraq War? Not the original one.
No, not the original one. It
She
was,
in high school.
I think it was 2010 or something like that, 2009, 2010. It might be a couple of years after that. I'm not exactly sure. But she spent a whole week there and did her shows live from Iraq.
At Habib's falafel shack.
I don't think that was it, but
Falafel and martini shack with the soldiers, you know. And I wasn't alive during the time that what's his name had the fireside chats during World War II.
I don't know.
I forget the president, the one who made all the positive social changes, and all the rich people hated him. But that was high tech at that time. So the president's going to talk on the radio every Sunday for 1 hour, and it's going to have a fireside chat. Now, and then Clinton brought in the town hall meeting, you're right, and he played saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show, and then Bush is like, my mom loves your music, Ozzy, and then it's like, cocaine addicts as a president, and and Obama's hope and change, and Trump hugs the flag and smiles, and Trump doesn't know how to dance. It's like, I've never seen a worse dancer in my life than Trump. But and now you got Biden, who basically poops his pants and belongs in a wheelchair. And they get comfortable with their positions of power, and they're not in touch with the street. And Rachel Maddow is not in touch with the street. And identity politics itself has to be gotten rid of. And how do we do that? We stop having heroes. Be your own hero. Stop following people because you like the way they talk, or it's good to follow ideas and ideals. I think you try to live up to a lot of ideals.
I'm not trying to live up to anything except for to be the best me I know how to be. And that's not, I can create followings and stuff, but I'm, generally when I'm dealing with the public, that's not something that they appreciate. So I got to take a break, Mike.
Okay, dude. Take care.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Snap out of it.
No.
See you later.
I am not going to snap out of it, in case anyone's wondering. Because, again, I'm being the best I can be, best me I can be, so why would I snap out of that? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm going to play a video about swimming rats. No. Video about sea snot. No. I'm going to play a video about Putin and Biden, in which this commentator, news person, prostitute is saying that the current state between Russia and the U.S., the current relationship between Biden and Putin is a state of war. This commentator clearly says that. And I was caught off guard a little bit, honestly. So I'll be right back. I got to get my tea. I forgot to bring my tea up. So I need my tea. Be right back.
Well, staying with the environment, and environmental groups in Florida are warning that an unusually high number of manatees have died in the first 5 months of the year. 749 fatalities have been recorded. That's surpassing the 637 fatalities for the whole of 2020.
Climate groups say that a substantial area of seagrass, the manatee's favourite food, has been killed off by the algae that is blooming and feeding on wastewater and runoff. And one of the main culprits is the abandoned Piney Point fertiliser plant that holds radioactive waste, which they say is still leaking into the ocean. Let's speak to marine ecologist Dr. Grant Gilmore. Grant, good to have you with us. This is really sad. How many manatees are still left in the wild?
Well, that's a good question. The numbers of deaths are going up daily. I think the principal reason that they're having problems, and of course we have many problems in our estuaries around Florida, is the disappearance of seagrass. And it's not just due to, you mentioned algae, it's actually not due to the algae. We have crystal clear water in many of these places right now, water that you can see 10 feet below you, yet the seagrass is not there. And so we feel that there's something else in the water, a toxin. And one thing that we do know we use a lot of here in Florida are weed killers and herbicides. And there's one that when it hits salt water, it continues to kill all plants for 6 months to a year. And it's heavily used around our large Lake Okeechobee and by homeowners in Florida. And that is probably one of the primary reasons that we've lost, in this case, there's a grass called manatee grass that the manatees consume. We call it manatee grass. It's gone. So, and we're talking about 150 miles of coastline here.
They're such beautiful creatures. Tell us a little bit about them and where they are. and how they feed and how they live?
Well, they're gentle giants. They aren't pretty, but they're wonderful to be around. And we used to have large numbers here. It wasn't unusual, for example, at the Kennedy Space Center to see several hundred at one time. They're like us in that they breathe air, they nurse their young, and they can reach a fairly large size, several hundred pounds.
Grant, we're looking at pictures right now that shows that these manatees have horrible scars on their backs. Now, I believe that's caused by the propellers of boats going over them. Am I right there? And is that still one of the biggest threats to them?
Well, it's food, we think now. The boat impacts had been a major problem with manatees because they're very slow and they get in the way of boats. And of course, in Florida, we have a major population growth, and associated with that, human population growth, associated with that, we have many more boats. So the ability for the manatee to impact, or a boat to impact the boat, has increased. But this problem we've seen right now, we think is due to the loss of food, the seagrass. And of course, there are multiple things that influence seagrass, but if we have clear water, very suspicious that it's a chemical that's in the water.
Goodness, I hope they sort that out. Grant, thank you very much for coming on the programme. I remember seeing some manatees last time I was in the United States. I took the kids to see them at San Diego Zoo, I think it was, and it was their favourite part of the day, because they are, as Grant says, they are gentle giants, aren't they? They're fun to see. So let's hope they can find them some food and try and preserve their habitats. Right, President Biden...
Sorry, I had to get the Boo Bears crunchies. I told him I'd get them crunchies before the show, and then I was kind of pressed for time after as the show was starting, so I forgot. Not so much I forgot as I didn't get down there to give them crunchies. So, long story short, they needed water and crunchies, and I made that happen. And I have this lovely cup of tea. I hope you have a lovely cup of tea also. So nice. Oh, I remember in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the main character, he's from Britain, I think, and he keeps craving a cup of tea. Like it's just this thing, this wonderful thing, and hasn't had it for days and days, and like, oh. And then finally he gets a cup of tea and he just like, oh, it's so good, oh. So, where were we? Oh, right. I was hoping that you would notice that again, commentator in that particular clip made it sound as if the United States and Russia are currently in a state of war. And I just can't stand the saber rattling. You know, it doesn't matter who it's with. Doesn't matter if it's with China. Doesn't matter if it's with, any other country. I can't stand the saber rattling. And it doesn't make sense. Unless, again, of course, if you are doing some type of psychological attack on the general public in order to have the public be afraid, in order to bolster your military, in order to send billions and billions of dollars to the military industrial complex, in order to make the super rich even more rich. Right? So you have this psychological attack because the saber rattling doesn't make sense, right? They'll say, oh, I'm going to attack you. Oh, we're going to get you back if you do this. Oh, you better not do that. It makes absolutely no sense. It's this thing, barking dogs don't bite, right? But at the same time, it's this psychological attack on the people, thinking, oh my God, are we already at a state of war? Oh my God, are we about to go to war? And then they get what they want. They get you afraid. I think they divide the public even more, because the public is, oh, we don't want war, and then there's these other public that's like, ooh, raw military, and which I don't. I think that the reason people would say "oorah military" is pretty obvious, and I don't think that you're supporting the military when you say that. I think if you want to support the military, say no more wars. No more wars. Stop sending our sons and daughters, our brothers and sisters, our mothers and fathers off to fucking bullshit wars based on lies, solely to make filthy rich cunts even more filthy rich. Okay? Stop doing. That's if you speak out against war. You're supporting the soldiers. You might not be supporting the military. Might not be supporting the military-industrial complex. Do you think the military-industrial complex is supporting the soldiers? Which one's more important to you? Supporting the soldiers or supporting the filthy rich who make a shiny penny every time one of our soldiers fucking dies? Oh yeah, support the military. No. Support the soldiers. Okay? And the best way to support them is to get them home to their families. To keep them from ever having to go somewhere away from their families, to put their lives in danger, to put their families. It's not just them putting their lives in danger. It's them putting their families' lives in danger too. Because oh yeah, you get a big fat paycheck from the government because, G.I. Joe lost his life being patriotic and brave, and, that family's life, the kids in the family's life, are completely fucked. They were proud when their dad was off doing the right thing, and then their dad got fucked. Dad got dead. So it destroys the families. It's this on and on thing that there's no reason to be doing. That every single person in the country should be fighting against, especially those who support the soldiers. Get them home to their husbands and wives, to their children, to their mothers and fathers. Okay? To their brothers and sisters. Get them home, where they can live their lives. Unless of course there is, this is what I was saying about the saber rattling, right? It doesn't make any sense, because unless you're doing this psychological operation against your own public, it makes no sense whatsoever, and the public of the other country, as if you're going to attack them, so they have to build up their military. Oh, they're going to attack us, we have to build up our military. The reason the saber rattling doesn't make sense is because if you were going to attack someone, you would want it, actually go to war, and you don't say, hey, we're going to war. If you were going to, if you're going to war, you don't say, all right, get up and fight, fucker. You fucking, if somebody fucking confronts you, right, and they want to fight, and you don't see a way out of it, you don't go, okay, are you ready? You don't do that, You don't go, okay, did you get your military built up enough, ready for us to take us on? You don't do that. So the saber rattling makes no sense, unless, of course, you're trying to attack your public. You're trying to attack the public, your public, in order to make more money for the filthy rich. This psychological attack, this the flag being at half-mast continuously. I mean, we went on an adventure a couple weeks ago where we were driving to go see the Olympic Mountains. I'd always wanted to go and hang out in the Olympic Mountains, and they're like, okay, let's go do it. So we went to the Olympic Mountains. It was my Make-A-Wish day. We went to the Olympic Mountains, and Rufus got to roll in the snow. I think maybe some of you saw the video. At any rate, I kept seeing flags at half-mast, and I think I asked what it was for, and I don't remember if there was an answer or not. But I remember saying, I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of this bullshit. It was never this way when we were young. Never, ever, ever before 2001 was it ever this way, where 50% of the time the flag is at half-mast. That's incredibly distressful. Again, psychological operation against the people. I think it's obvious, and I think this is why I keep saying that we have to recognize the real enemy combatants, the real people that are damaging the public, the real people that are just terrorizing the public. You know, it's the mainstream media, it's the people in Washington, D.C. They want you afraid. It's Joe Biden saber rattling with Vladimir Putin and commentators talking about how we're at a state of war or nearly at a state of war. They want you afraid. They want you terrorized. They can't wait for the next terrorist attack to happen so they can blame it on whoever it is they want to go to war with next. My guess would be Iran. Okay, so again, recognizing that this is the government, you know, that they are the real terrorists, right? And it's not just that. They have the FBI. The FBI are also the real terrorists. They have the CIA. The CIA is also the real terrorists. They have the NSA. They're also the real terrorists. Why are they the terrorists? Because, let's see, the CIA had 2 of the supposed 19th hijackers who took down the Twin Towers and hit the Pentagon on 9/11. The CIA had 2 of them, might have been the FBI, one or the other organization, had 2 of those hijackers in a CIA/FBI safe house. They had been staying there for a while, and then somehow, a week before 9/11, and you can look this up, it's easy to find, a week before 9/11, they were no longer in the safe house, and boom, they went and pulled off this job, the biggest terrorist attack of all time, boom, out of nowhere, right? Okay, the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, they're the real terrorist. Our government is the real terrorist. Our government is no doubt attacking our country, and definitely the general public. And how do we stop it when they have the FBI, when they have the CIA, when they have the NSA? The only way we can stop it, the only way, is by coming together and recognizing the common enemy. And then once we recognize this common enemy and we make a bridge, not so much because we've overcome our divisions, but we bridge because we must unite to destroy this enemy that threatens all of our future, all of our current existence, everything on the planet's current existence, and certainly your children and your grandchildren's future. Number one, we recognize that, which makes it so that we can come together, even though we have all these other differences, which are really petty and small. Even though we have all these other differences, this one common enemy is more important than those to defeat. And how do we defeat them? Right? How on earth are you going to defeat the pieces of shit who have the pieces of shit in the FBI and the pieces of shit in the CIA and the pieces of shit in the NSA and the pieces of shit in the DHS? How are you going to defeat them? And I've already said, all we have to do is sit down. All we have to do is all of us agree. We're not going to buy anything. We'll go to the grocery store. How about that? We'll get gasoline to go to the grocery store. Until then, we're sitting down, okay? And we're not going to buy anything. And until you listen to our voices, it's not going to change. And I think that if we were to accomplish that it's not so much a matter of them hearing our voices, because they don't give a fuck about our voices. Okay? It's a matter of the super rich Jeff Bezos, oh God, who's that guy? Soros, all these fucking tards, man. Bill Gates, they would immediately start taking a hit, okay? And if they're taking a hit, if they're taking a hit, also we can, if we do that, we can short the market. We can pull all of our money out of the stock market. Not my money, but all the money that people have in the stock market, except for the super rich. We can pull it all out, and then while we do our protest, a week long, a 2 weeks long, a 3 weeks long, while we do that protest and we don't buy anything, all the stocks will go into the shitter, right? All the stock market will fucking plunge, but you've already pulled your money out. Which means when we go back to buying things, you can buy all these stocks at 50% of the cost that you sold them at. And that being said, they will begin to shoot right back up and you will make plenty of money, which I think isn't so important to me, but it might be a reason to help come together with these other people who we all have a common enemy with in order to defeat it and to be on the same page, And I think that if we were to do this, again, it's not about the money, it's about them listening, right? So if we do this, all these rich motherfuckers are going to be like, how do we get them to, to get them to start buying stuff, to get them to go back to work, to get them to, to be the thing that we need in order to keep our everything functioning. Because again, the minute we stop buying stuff from Amazon, it sets up this huge fucking chain event, right? There's constantly giant container ships being shipped from China over to here. Constantly, as fast as they can load them for Amazon, right? So if we disrupt that process, it's going to put all these things that are supposed to be unloading and there's space now for the next one, there's space now for the next one. That's not going to happen anymore. Okay? So we put this giant kink in their whole, delivery line along with everything else. And they have to listen. They have to do whatever it takes to get the people back, back to where it was. Okay? So the people will speak out clearly that these people are our enemy. These people have been our enemy. And if you're not our enemy, Jeff Bezos, then you tell the powers that be that these people have to go to prison. You get on our side. You get on our side, Bill Gates. And you stand up with the people and you start saying, yeah, George Soros likes to pretend, but he should be leading this effort if he was actually on the side of the people. Because it's just so obvious how evil this government is, and I really want to see a brighter future. And it's not for me. Like I said, I'm not real attached to this world. I don't really care what the future holds for me. I hope that I can finish writing my book. That would be awesome. But I'd really like to write a TV show or a movie, probably a TV show. But I can't get. It takes a few people to make that happen. You can't just write ideas from a single perspective and hope to have this thing that appeals to lots and lots of people. Which is not so much, again, about appealing to a wider audience. It's about bouncing ideas back and forth off each other. Oh, what if we did it this way? Oh, what if we did it that way? And the more people that you're bouncing the ideas off, not so much the more people. You don't want to muddy it up too much, but you need a couple of people to bounce it off and say, well, what if we did this, or what if we did that? And then you get something that looks like, fuck yeah. But it's, if you want to work with me, it's not the easiest thing to do. I don't play well with others, and at least that's what it said when I got sent home from kindergarten on the first day. And it's not so much that I don't play well with others, is that it comes back to this thing where I have to be the best me that I can be, and that the only way to be that is to not give a fuck. Right? And I was talking with my friend Sam the other day. I think it was on the same trip when we went to the Olympic Mountains. And I said, how is it that these South Park guys are so fucking funny? And he said, because they don't give a fuck. And I think it's hard to find, that's where I'm at. I don't give a fuck. And it's not that I don't give a fuck. Obviously, I talk about these things that are of importance to all of us. It's that I don't care what anybody thinks of what I'm doing, right? And that's what he meant when he said that they don't give a fuck. That this Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they don't give a fuck. And it's not so much that they don't give a fuck about the environment or their neighborhood or other people around the world. It's that they don't give a fuck what you think about their art. And they don't have to. It's nice that you like it and everything, but if it was important, then they would steer it this way or that way and try not to be so harsh. But they want to do it that's the most true way to them, the way that they see it as being, the way it's the funniest to them, and they don't give a fuck what other people think, right? And so it's really hard to find people like that, I think, that you can work with to want to write or create. I think those guys are pretty lucky. I think they found each other in high school. So it's really, if you have somebody like that to bounce stuff off, it would be really nice. The things that you could make happen would be almost limitless. Which is the way that I really see people, and the direction that we could and should be headed to a limitless future. So let's see. Since we don't have any callers, I am going to play a video about sea snot, because you all need to know about sea snot and how it's a threat to everyone everywhere. The sea snot is coming, people. Don't forget it. You heard it here first.
In Turkey, a slimy floating mass, you see it right here, of yellowish white slime is threatening marine life, tourism, and the fishing industry, especially in the Sea of Marmara. That's in the waters south of Istanbul, but it's also in the Black Sea and in the Aegean Sea. It's known as sea snot, and it's caused by poor waste management and rising water temperatures from global warming. The Turkish government recently launched an action plan to clean up the slimy substance. Many say the efforts come too late. Our correspondent braved these slimy waters to send us this report.
Webs of thick yellowish slime. They are covering corals, wrapping themselves around crabs and sea urchins, suffocating marine life. But this isn't a horror movie. It's underwater footage from the Sea of Marmara, off the coast of Istanbul. The so-called sea snot, in science speak marine mucilage, is produced by some algae. The slime has been spreading for weeks, thriving on warm temperatures and pollution. It's a man-made disaster.
Herkes merak ediyor nasıl bir.
The sea snot is very difficult to grab hold of. This stuff is so slimy, it slips through your hands and back into the water.
Parçalanıyor, dağılıyor.
It's really revolting. An aerial view illustrates the extent of the environmental crisis. Carpets of mucus along the coastline, clogging ports and beaches. As well as affecting the Sea of Marmara and the metropolis of Istanbul, the slime has also taken over parts of the adjoining Aegean and Black Seas. It's a threat to the local fishing industry, and swimming is now impossible in many places. I had heard of the sea snot, but now I can see how bad it really is. I tried swimming where there is less of it, but my skin still felt itchy. We usually come surfing here every week, but now we are really worried. We have to go further out because the slime is all over the shore. I've been diving here for 10 years, but I've never seen a natural disaster like this. There was sea snot when I was a child, but it was never as bad as this. The Turkish government has recently started to tackle the problem. The environment minister launched a massive cleanup operation. Dredgers are pumping out the slime, and workers are bringing the muck ashore for disposal. It looks like an impossible task, and many experts say it's already too late. What we see on the surface is very worrying, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. The real problem is under the water. This is where the slime is spreading, and it's getting worse every week. Marine biologists like Mustafa Sarı say the scourge of sea snot is not just a Turkish problem, but a stark warning to the world that climate change is pushing our planet's life support systems to the brink.
So, you know, I keep saying that this is that we have to make it better because we can't expect the people who come after us to make it better, right? We have now to make it happen. We don't get to hope for a better tomorrow. We have to take action in order to get a better tomorrow. But it's not just that. It's that in that video, people were talking about, and it sounded like they were saying that it might be too late to clean this up. Which is really gross. I have no idea what that stuff is, but man, watching it like pour out of his hand, it looked like it was a fucking living, like an octopus or something, because it looked like a solid kind of mass. Really, ugh. Anyways, that being said, they're saying that it may be too late, that people think that it's too late to clean it up. I don't think that it's too late. Okay, you heard me talking about this earlier. You know, I don't think it's too late to save the orcas It might be too late to save the manatees. And it might be too late to save the orcas. That doesn't mean it's not worth trying. And it's not a matter of it being too late. It really isn't. It's a matter of resources and prioritization. Okay? If you want to save the orcas, we can do that. It's just going to take this, making it a top priority. Which I can't understand why we wouldn't make it a top priority. I really will never understand how, our woke generation could allow these species to just disappear forever. So, it's not a matter of it's too late. It's a matter of resources and priorities. And that's why there's hungry people in the world, because it's not the priority. It's a matter of resources and prioritization, right? All we have to do is make the right amount of resources available for this top priority of feeding people that are dying of starvation. Then it would not be too late. It wouldn't be too late. It's something that we still have the ability to do. But maybe they want us to think it's too late, so they don't have to make it a priority. So they don't have to spend the proper amount of resources in order to cure the problem. Again, I don't think it's necessarily too late. I just think the idea of kicking the can down the road, I think the place that we're kicking it to is too late. And that's sad, because we have everything we need to fix these problems. We have everything we need. It's all right at our fingertips. We have the technology, we have the imagination, the vision, the ability to prioritize all the resources that we could need. But apparently it's not going to happen. Right? And, oh gosh, I wish we could save the orcas. I wish we could save the manatees. You can. Not you in particular, but the people in Congress, the rich people. If Jeff Bezos wanted to save the manatees, do you think he would be like, oh, we can't save the manatees? If that was his priority, do you think the manatees wouldn't be saved? If that was his priority, this guy with, $200 billion. If that was his top priority, do you think he couldn't save the orcas? And that's what I don't understand. He came from this area. He made his money. He put his foundation here in this area. How can you go, oh yeah, whatever, orcas, they're really just in the way. He has everything, so I guess why should he care about anything else on the planet? Because he already has everything that he wants, so it's no big deal if the manatees disappear off the face of the planet. If he wanted a manatee, he'd already have a family of them living in his swimming pool. So, fuck the manatees. Right? Bezos? Okay, I'm going to play another video because there's no callers and I have lots of videos to play. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to go warm up my teeth. You want another sea snot video? I have a video about this. It's really cool. They show like this swimming rat. Like he swims under the water. He goes diving and he catches fish. And it's not just this one rat. And I guess it's not a rat. They call it a shrew. But it really looks a lot like a rat. I have a video about that, but that's not what I'm going to play right now. Let's see, did I play the one about the manatees? I'm going to play the one about the manatees. Okay? Is that alright with you? Manatees? Or you want to see about the orcas? Let's see one about the orcas. Because the orcas can still be saved if Jeff Bezos wants to. Be right back.
Scientists here in the UK have worked out how water shrews, the world's smallest diving mammals, evolved the ability to hold their...
Orcas are starving and headed toward extinction. And tonight, the King 5 investigators reveal the city of Seattle's dams on the Skagit River are making conditions for the whales even worse. Federal scientists say that the dams hurt orcas by cutting off a key habitat for their most important food source, Chinook salmon.
As Susanna Frame reports in her continuing investigation, Skagit River of Light and Loss, experts are urging the city to help Chinook get around those dams to help the orca recover.
It's one of the greatest symbols of the Pacific Northwest, the beloved southern resident killer whale, orcas, who spend time year-round in Puget Sound. It's a spectacular species on the brink of extinction, signaling the demise of much more, including endangered Chinook salmon, the orca's main food source, and the cultural traditions of indigenous people, like the Soxhawtl Indian tribe of the Skagit Basin. They are salmon people who, like the orca, are suffering from the loss of Chinook. Their dances are a healing practice, a way to honor all animals on Earth, including southern resident orcas.
It's been a way of life.
Nino Maltos is the chairman of the Soxhawtl tribe.
The orca whales, to us, we see them as our brothers and sisters of the water, in the sense that we're fighting for the same thing. We're fighting for a food source, we're fighting for a way of life, and the only difference between us and them is that we have a voice and they don't.
So what does the Skagit River and the dams in it have to do with the health of the orca out here in the Salish Sea? A lot. The Skagit River produces more Chinook salmon for the orca than any other river in Puget Sound. But tribal and government scientists say the river could produce a lot more fish for whales if Seattle City Light would buck up and do its part.
In a 6-month investigation, King 5 has exposed that City Light has touted a narrative for decades that their dams don't hurt Chinook salmon, the prize meal for orcas, because they were built above nature-made fish barriers. But we found the entire Pacific Northwest scientific community doesn't believe that story anymore. In public documents, Upper Skagit Indian tribe biologists wrote that's a false narrative. And the federal agency, NOAA Fisheries, wrote big rocks aren't to blame for blocking fish, but the dam is the conclusive barrier to salmon getting upstream. NOAA also wrote the Skagit River is among the most important sources of Chinook needed for the recovery of orcas.
Well, I think the entire public was misled. The orca community went along with that.
Howard Garrett is the founder of the Orca Network based on Whidbey Island. He says there's been a lost opportunity on the Skagit, that fish passage through the dams like fish ladders to help Chinook access miles of blocked off habitat could be a key benefit for the starving whales.
There's been this kind of cover-up, and now we're seeing it was wrong, and it has deprived us humans, and certainly the tribes, and especially to me, the orcas, of their essential sustenance.
Was it intentional?
Of course it wasn't intentional, Susanna.
Deborah Smith is the general manager and CEO of Seattle City Light.
No misleading intended. I think most knowledge in this world is cumulative. We learn, we grow, we study, we learn some more, we grow, we study, and that's where we are right now.
Below their hydroelectric dams, the utility is focused on helping salmon through habitat restoration. But that plan hasn't improved outcomes for fish or the whales. In 2005, the federal government listed the orca as an endangered species, but they're not recovering. The population grew to a high of 89 whales in 2006 to just 74 alive now.
The main problem southern residents are facing is a lack of food.
Dr. David Bain is the chief scientist for the Seattle-based Orca Conservancy. He says restoration projects help, but the fastest route to help the whales is to access new habitat for Chinook.
And there's a lot of high-quality habitat above the dams. If the fish could reach them, we could see much larger production out in Skagit.
In 2018, this whale, named J35 or Tahlequah, brought international attention to the plight of the Pacific Northwest orca. Tahlequah carried her dead calf throughout the Salish Sea for 17 days, an unprecedented showing of grief over the death of her baby.
J35 Tahlequah certainly showed everyone what happens when they don't get enough to eat. So every little bit, every morsel, every new source of Chinook salmon especially that you can bring into their habitat is going to help her and all the other southern residents.
Seattle City Light says they're working to change conditions on the Skagit for salmon and the orcas who depend on the river.
I think we all have a role to play. And so we're committed to doing our part and continuing to learn more, as we all are, about what has put this species in peril and how we can help bring it back. I don't care about being right. I care about doing right.
I think it's a lot of talk. I think actions speak louder than words.
No one has more at stake than Native Americans who've called the Skagit Valley home for thousands of years. They're watching salmon, the very center of their culture, disappear, and in turn, the cherished orca.
I believe that the Skagit River is taking care of Seattle City Lights financially and in every which way, and I think that it's Seattle City Lights' time to take care of the Skagit River.
Of course, there are many factors impacting the orcas. According to NOAA Fisheries, the #1 problem is lack of food. After that, toxins in the marine environment and vessel noise. NOAA Fisheries also wrote in public documents that without question, the orcas are, quote, adversely influenced by the dams because they hurt Chinook salmon the whales depend on. Along the shores of Puget Sound in Seattle, Susanna Frame, King 5 News.
And I don't know if you all remember that when the orca pushed her calf around. But I don't think that was a matter of grief so much as, you know, look what you're doing. Look what you've done. Are we going to keep doing this? Or are we going to try and help? And again, I think it comes down to Jeff Bezos. If Jeff Bezos said, hey, there's no way we're letting the Puget Sound orcas disappear from this planet, there's a pretty good chance that they would survive. And he's the only one who has to step up and do it. I honestly believe that's true. That if it was a priority for Jeff Bezos, that it would happen. And I don't know how it couldn't be. I mean, it's like you would be a hero to the whole world, to the whole, if not the whole world, the whole Northwest. You know, if Jeff Bezos said, you know, not only are we going to save the orcas, we're going to save the manatees too. You know, the whole world would be like building statues to Jeff Bezos. But that's not his priority. His priority is banging hookers, snorting cocaine, you know, nothing to do with what really matters on the planet. Nothing, absolutely nothing. In fact, he's made massive amounts of money, probably by murdering orcas. He's made massive amounts of money, definitely by making it much more difficult for the orcas to survive. So, and he will continue to do so because that's just the kind of guy he is. He's not someone who deserves to have statues built for him. And hopefully one of these days, again, I don't want to look at people like this. I want people to be, yeah, Jeff is an awesome guy. Jeff is the kind of guy who makes the world a better place. Right? This is the kind of leadership we want. These are the kind of cops that we want. You know, and again, I don't want to think badly of the cops. I want to think this is the kind of guy, these are the kind of guys, kind of people, these police officers, they make our community a better place, a safer place. The way that it looks now is not as if, you know, they make the community even safer, let alone better. And that's the way everyone should be. You know, this is what I'm saying about where I'm coming from, about being the best me that I can be. You know, and I'm the only one that can decide that. And what other people think doesn't really matter. That being said, you know, if you have this priority where you want to make, you know, you want to make a difference. You want to be one of those people who make your neighborhood a better place, who make your community a better place, who make the world a better place. Because really the world is your community. How much more of a better person could you be than making the world a better place? How can anyone want to be anything but a person who makes the world a better place? Because that's the world that you live in. The world, there's only really one for us, for humans. So, you know, how could you want anything more than to make the world a better place? That's where you live. You want to live in a better place. And you just don't make it better for you. You make it better for everyone. It's just, that's what making your community a better place is all about. Not about, oh, it's going to cost this much money. Well, yeah, that's the community that you live in. The community collects this much money. Wouldn't you want it spent in that way? I think. I don't know. Maybe. So, if what you want is to make the world a better place, you have the ability to do it. Okay, you gonna put it up or what? If it works, okay, so, and you don't have to make the whole world a better place in order for you to make the world a better place. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is be the best you can be. All you have to do is decide that you're going to make wherever it is that you are a better place. That's all. You make it a better place because you're there. And that doesn't have to do a whole lot with how much money you have. And generally speaking, if there's somebody there who has a bunch of money, they're probably not making a better place. They're probably just showing off, showing people how much better they are than everyone else. So, you know, how can Jeff Bezos not want to be that person who makes the world a better place? You know, how can he want to be someone who leaves the world worse than when he came into the world? How can anyone want to be that? And again, this may just be me trying to be, the best me I can be. Because I know that I made my community better in so many ways. And it wasn't, again, so much a matter of making my community a better place as just, you know, it's like in my neighborhood saying hi to everyone. The reason that I do that isn't to make it a better place so much as that I like being neighborly. I want a community. I want to live in a neighborhood where people say hi to each other. Because there's a lot of places where people don't do that. They don't look at anybody. They don't look around. They just keep their head down and go take care of their business. You know, I like looking around. I like seeing the blue sky, I like seeing the trees, I like seeing the birds, seeing the squirrels and the bunnies. I like those things. And part of what, you know, when you're looking around and you're seeing the squirrels and the bunnies and the trees and the blue sky and the fluffy clouds, one of the things you see when you're looking around like that, as opposed to keeping your head down and getting through your life, when you see people. And I like to acknowledge that I see you. Hey, I see you. Hey. You know, and it's weird because if you drive around in a classic VW, if you drive around in a VW, what you'll find is everybody else who drives a VW is like waving at you. It's like this strange, this strange thing. But that's the community I want to live in. You know, it's not that I want to drive a classic VW van, 1967, with the little porthole windows and a rag top that folds back halfway. It's not that I want to drive around in that baby blue color. It's not that I want that. It's that the community that I actually spend time in, I want them to know that I'm part of it, and know that I'm friendly, and know that, you know, that, I don't know, that I have a smile on my face. I'm trying not, I don't know, I just see so, you know, I say hi to people, like I said, everywhere I go, and I see so many people who look at me and then turn away. You know, I saw that today. We were walking, and there was people across the street, and I think they had a dog or something, and I waved at one of them, and that person turned away, and then another person came out the front door. They were like standing in their yard, and that person's looking at me. I wave at the first one because she's looking at me. The second person comes out, and he's looking at me, so I wave at him, and he turns away. Right? It's I don't understand. You know, is that the kind of community that you want to live in, or you know, I mean, do you really want to be that not neighborly? I don't, you know. Meanwhile, we're walking past this one yard, and they have these giant Rottweilers in them, right? They had to weigh like real close to 200 pounds each. They have these giant Rottweilers in them, and they're like barking. And I noticed they didn't have their tails docked, right? So they had these tails, and they're wagging, and you kind of know that the people that own those Rottweilers are good people, because they didn't dock their tails, right? And because that's, again, this traumatic thing that you don't want to put a dog through for no reason, unless, of course, that's the stylish dog that you're looking for. Oh no, we wanted our dog to be this style. So anyways, the dogs are barking at us, and this lady comes out, and she's like, oh, the dogs are super friendly, they're just trying to say hi. And I told her, yeah, they look very happy. And she, again, was just friendly. She said, come here, Rufus, and come here, someone else. And I said, do you say Rufus? She said, yeah, this is Rufus. They're brothers. And I went, well, this is Rufus, and this is Sammy, and they're brother and sister. And she's like, oh, that's adorable. And they were just so nice. It was like, I'd never met this person before. And it's like you have the opportunity to live in that kind of a neighborhood. Or you can be these people who turn away, you know. And they're not turning away from somebody who's eyeballing them or looking at them suspiciously, like, these people are leaving their home. Ha 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 ha. I'm walking dogs. I'm carrying bags of dog shit. I'm no threat to anybody. I'm like, hey, beautiful day, huh? And they turn away, and I don't know why someone would choose to have that kind of life. They're choosing to feel that way about their neighborhood, as far as I can tell. As where this other person was like, hi, don't worry, everything's good. And then I started talking with her, and she's just as friendly as could be. It wasn't like, okay, bye, you know. So, and it's not that hard, you know. It's not that hard to communicate with people. Oh yeah, did you say Rufus? Yeah, this is Rufus too. We have things so much in common. So many things in common. And we can make it a better place. We can leave the world a better place. We can make it a better place right now for you and me and everyone. We just have leadership that doesn't want to do this. Not that they don't know how to do that. They don't want to do that. They want to make war and death and destruction everywhere they go. Everywhere the United States goes. And why? I've mentioned this before. This is the plan, is to alienate the rest of the world from the United States. Just like Israel has alienated the rest of the world from Israel, right? The United States is also in a position to be trying to make that happen. They're doing that right now. And why would they do that? They're doing it because they want, when the United States gets attacked, and it will, unfortunately, unless, of course, we head a whole new direction, unless we had a whole new direction, the United States will be attacked. And it's not so much that anybody wants to attack the United States as we have to. You know, it's like a Davy and Goliath thing. And, you know, Goliath is smashing everything, everywhere Goliath goes. Smashing and destroying and killing. And the world can't allow that to happen forever. So what the people that are making us alienated from the rest of the world, what they want is a war. Okay, and what they want is for when the people of these United States actually come together, actually, get beyond our differences to recognize the common enemy, and then to make a plan to crush this common enemy so that we can move forward into a brighter tomorrow. While they're, you know, what they're doing by alienating the people, the American people, what they're doing by alienating them from the rest of the world is that when the rest of the world, the people of these United States call out to the rest of the world to say, hey, we can make a better tomorrow if we can just get rid of this bullshit fucking government that we have, the rest of the world will go, yeah, you people deserve what you get. Okay, when we're saying, no, we're better than this and we want to make good things happen, we just have to squash this government, we don't want war with the rest of the world. When we're doing that, you know, and we've already alienated the rest of the world, they're not coming to our rescue. They're not going to say, yeah, we want to side with you. Yeah, we want the United States to boldly lead us into the 21st century. The United States had that opportunity. They did. If not with George W. Bush, with Barack Obama, who had not just the backing of so many people in the United States, but also the backing of the entire world. Because after George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, the world was desperate for a United States that has the United States, the world was desperate to hear a voice that made it look like the United States was going to be headed in a new direction, headed in a direction that was a brighter tomorrow, as opposed to this death and destruction everywhere the United States goes, right? It was, and the world was desperate for that. And when they saw Obama, they believed that it could be. It could be. The United States could head a better direction than where it's been. They believed that. And then instead of doing that, instead of making that happen, Barack Obama, with the entire world behind him, a mandate not only from the people in this country. They love to say, oh, this person has a mandate because they were just elected in a landslide election. They have a mandate. Obama had a mandate from around the world in which he could have made whatever happen. He could have said, let's save the manatees, let's save the orcas, let's make freedom reign around the world. Instead, he said, let's continue what George Bush and Dick Cheney have been doing for the last blah, blah, blah years. Forever. Because we can't do anything better than that. Because I'm going to be the drone king presidency. I'm going to be the drone king of the entire world. That was the Obama presidency. That was not what the world was hoping for. That was not what any of us were hoping for. That's what Obama gave us. When he could have, he had the support to lead this country and this world into this brighter future that I keep talking about. It's not so much that it's a great, brighter future as that it's headed the right direction. We're actually headed the right direction now. You know, and some people think, oh, we're headed the right direction because we elected a black president. And what did he do? What did the black president do? He acted just like the white president just before him. He didn't act like hope and change. He didn't act like we need to take this world into a brighter future. He didn't act like we need to lead the world boldly into the 21st century that gives a better future, not just for ourselves, and not just for our children and our grandchildren, but for children everywhere around the world. Instead, when he had that opportunity to do that, instead of making that happen, he bombed little children around the world. When Israel bombed little children in Gaza over and over and over again, and then ran out of missiles to bomb little children with, Obama, as quickly as possible, shipped more missiles to Israel so that they could continue bombing little children. That's who Obama chose to be. So again, breaking the trust of the world. You know, you have this mandate, you have the ability to make the world this place where, you know, we have a bright future to look forward to. And like I've said about Obama in the past, it's like he gathered up all the hope in the world, right? He gathered it all up, and then he crushed it into a fine powder, and he snorted it up right in front of all of us. And then with that shit-eating grin of his, he went, ho, 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 ho. Because that's a piece of garbage that Obama is. All right, I need to take a quick break. You people can see the telephone number on the screen, right? It's 805-669-6397. You can see that, right? Okay, I'm going to take a break now and play a video. So I will be right back. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to play a video about the manatees. So I'll be right back.
Well, staying with the environment, and environmental groups in Florida are warning that an unusually high number of manatees have died in the first 5 months of the year. 749 fatalities have been recorded. That's surpassing the 637 fatalities for the whole of 2020.
Climate groups say that a substantial area of seagrass, the manatee's favourite food, has been killed off by the algae that is blooming and feeding on wastewater and runoff. And one of the main culprits is the abandoned Piney Point fertiliser plant that holds radioactive waste, which they say is still leaking into the ocean. Let's speak to marine ecologist Dr. Grant Gilmore. Grant, good to have you with us. This is really sad. How many manatees are still left in the wild?
Well, that's a good question. The numbers of deaths are going up daily. I think the principal reason that they're having problems, and of course we have many problems in our estuaries around Florida, is the disappearance of seagrass. And it's not just due to, you mentioned algae, it's actually not due to the algae. We have crystal clear water in many of these places right now, water that you can see 10 feet below you, yet the seagrass is not there. And so we feel that there's something else in the water, a toxin, And one thing that we do know we use a lot of here in Florida are weed killers and herbicides. And there's one that when it hits salt water, it continues to kill all plants for 6 months to a year. And it's heavily used around our large Lake Okeechobee and by homeowners in Florida. And that is probably one of the primary reasons that we've lost, in this case, there's a grass called manatee grass that the manatees consume. We call it manatee grass. It's gone. So, and we're talking about 150 miles of coastline here.
They're such beautiful creatures. Tell us a little bit about them and where they are, and how they feed and how they live.
Well, they're gentle giants. They aren't pretty, but they're wonderful to be around. And we used to have large numbers here. It wasn't unusual, for example, at the Kennedy Space Center to see several hundred at one time. They're like us in that they breathe air, they nurse their young, and they can reach a fairly large size, several hundred pounds.
Grant, we're looking at pictures right now that shows that these manatees have horrible scars on their backs. Now, I believe that's caused by the propellers of boats going over them. Am I right there? And is that still one of the biggest threats to them?
Well, it's food, we think now. The boat impacts had been a major problem with manatees because they're very slow and they get in the way of boats. And of course, in Florida, we have a major population growth, and associated with that, human population growth, associated with that, we have many more boats. So the ability for the manatee to impact, or a boat to impact the boat, has increased. But this problem we've seen right now, we think is due to the loss of food, the seagrass. And of course, there are multiple things that influence seagrass, but if we have clear water, very suspicious that it's a chemical that's in the water.
Goodness, I hope they sort that out. Grant, thank you very much for coming on the programme. I remember seeing some manatees last time I was in the United States. I took the kids to see them at San Diego Zoo, I think it was, and it was their favourite part of the day, because they are, as Grant says, they are gentle giants, aren't they? They're fun to see. So let's hope they can find them some food and try and preserve their habitats. Right, President Biden...
Let's see here now. Where were we? Okay, so where were we? We were talking about, saving the manatees, and how, people like Bill Gates want to spread vaccines around the world. They want to, he wants to get billions of vaccines into billions of people's arms. He wants to spread around this modern medicine. And this is a video from a 360 picture from our friend Sam of downtown and the Puget Sound, where all the orcas live, and that's Queen Anne. I used to live in Queen Anne. I always thought it was a nice neighborhood, just the right amount of space away from the downtown area, and that's Lake Union over there, which has always been a nice place to hang out. I think that's Lake Union. Is that Lake Union? Let me see. Where's Lake Union? I think that's Lake Union. Is that Lake Union? Maybe. Probably. I don't know. It is. Craig says it is Lake Union. Okay. So, and there's the Space Needle and downtown Seattle. Okay, that being said, now, saving the manatees, saving the orcas, again, if this was something Bill Gates wants to spread modern medicine around the world and act like he's saving people that way. If you want to save people, you feed them. Okay, these people have lived without your bullshit modern medicine for fucking 1,000 generations. They don't need your bullshit modern medicine. Okay, they need drinking water. They need food. And all you have to do is make sure they have drinking water and food and shelter of some kind, whatever kind of assistance they need. They don't need your fucking modern medicine bullshit. They simply need the ability not to have to fucking starve to death, not to have no water to drink. You know, it's not that complicated. And instead of that, Bill Gates wants to put billions of vaccines in billions of people's arms. You know? If that's the priority, we don't need somebody like Bill Gates doing it. You know, that should be the kind of thing governments decide if this is the priority, and then the governments make that happen. We don't need Bill Gates. We don't need the U.S. government running around dictating to people, oh, here's 1 billion vaccines, make sure they go into everybody's arm that you can get them in. You know, we don't need that. What we need is to actually be lifting people up. We do that by making sure people have clean water to drink, which they don't even have in this country. Okay? So, again, this leadership that we have is garbage. Doesn't matter, Republicans, Democrats, they're exactly the same fucking thing. Okay? Both of them, Republicans, Democrats, have led us into the current position that the world is in. The Democrats and the Republicans have worked hand in hand to make it so that the orcas are dying, to make it so that the manatees are dying, so that not everyone in our country has clean water to drink. The Republicans and the Democrats have done this together. Okay, it wasn't one side or the other. We have horrifically bad leadership in this country. We have a government that is referred to as the Big Satan by numerous millions, if not billions of people. The Great Satan. And it probably, rightfully so, deserves that title. Although I think it's, kind of derogatory to Satan to compare the U.S. government to Satan, honestly. One of these days, I'm going to have lunch with Lucy. And I'm actually really looking forward to it. So, that being said, I think that if we can't do better, if we can't get a better government than something referred to as the Great Satan, maybe we're not the people that I think we are. Oh, and by the way, this right here on the screen, this is Seattle Center. That's where the Space Needle is, and then it comes all the way over here to this, it comes way across. Right there is it used to be the Key Arena. I can't remember what it is now, so I think it's the Kraken Arena. Which one? Climate sled? Climate sled. Okay, so that's the arena where the new NHL hockey team will play. They're called the Kraken. And there's an opera house over here, and there's a bunch of stuff. There's a stadium right here. In this stadium, that's like right in front of the Seattle Center right there, that I hope you can see that big stadium. Let me see. Can I make it bigger? Right here, this stadium. I saw, right here, I saw the Sex Pistols. Is that the stadium? Yeah, I saw the Sex Pistols there. I saw John Lee Hooker there. John Lee Hooker was mind-blowing. I was just tripping balls. And he looked like a giant pair of sunglasses with a guitar up on stage. And I'm telling you, at one point he went, and for all of you on LSD right now, just like, what the fuck is happening? I looked at the person next to me and said, are you hearing the same thing I am? Probably not. So, and I've seen a lot of other bands there. I think I saw Elvis Costello there. I've seen a lot of bands there. It was a great place. And there used to be a little arena down here by the whatever dome place. There used to be a little arena called the Mercer Arena down here, and I saw Jesus Lizard there. The night that they were kicked out, banned from Seattle, I saw that concert because the lead singer was body surfing naked across a fucking sea of people. And they said it was some kind of a fire hazard. The fire department banned them from playing there again. This right here is the fountain at the Seattle Center. It's a giant fountain. It squirts water everywhere. During the festivals, people sit all around it. The kids go down and they play all in the water. It's a beautiful thing. I really love Seattle. Jesus Lizard. I saw Jesus Lizard at the Mercer Arena, and I saw Prodigy there. I saw Prodigy. They were a fucking hour and a half late getting on stage, right? And then they fucking played for 40 minutes and left. You know, I thought, oh, they're going to go take a break and they'll come out for, you know, a round two. You know, they played for 40 minutes after we waited, after an hour and a half late. Prodigy comes on stage and fucking exits stage 40 minutes later. Fuck Prodigy. That's all I'm saying. Let's see, Manatees. We did the Manatees. Let's see, what else did we do? We did the Shooting Sharks. Oh, we didn't do the Swimming Rat yet. They're calling it a shrew, but it looks a lot like a rat. I think it's really cool video, and I thought that I would play it for you because I figured you'd enjoy it. So I'm going to play this swimming rat video here, and I'll be right back.
Scientists here in the UK have worked out how water shrews, the world's smallest diving mammals, evolved the ability to hold their breath and hunt underwater. Now, a team of researchers have discovered that they evolved muscles especially adapted to allow them to remain underwater for long periods of time, despite their very, very small size. Our science correspondent Victoria Gill has the details.
A water shrew's ability to dive and hunt in freezing water appears to defy evolutionary logic. They only weigh about 15 grams, less than one AA battery, and their tiny bodies lose heat and burn energy quickly. For marine mammals like seals, bulky bodies packed with oxygen-storing muscle and insulated by layers of fat help them spend many minutes under the water. The researchers used DNA to work out exactly how such a diminutive mammal evolved this unusual semi-aquatic lifestyle. The scientists created a genetic family tree of 71 related insect-eating mammal species, and they discovered that at 5 distinct points in their history, shrews and moles had evolved the ability to store much more oxygen in their muscles in a protein called myoglobin.
We can actually use the sequences to tell us about the lifestyle. And it's just the sequence of one protein that we're just using that is really incredibly important for this lifestyle. That actually tells us something that we couldn't figure out having all these fossils. And so now having this incredible set of genes from all these different species and making a thorough analysis, we really could figure it out.
It's the availability of food, or the insect larvae that lives in the beds of rivers and streams that drove water shrews into the water. Their record dive time is 24 seconds, and this research has revealed how these tiny predators' bodies became engineered for this high-speed aquatic hunting. Victoria Gill, BBC News.
Okay, I forgot to mention, in this arena here where the Kraken is playing, I've seen a lot of concerts there. But I saw Ween there, right? I saw Ween, and they played for about an hour and a half. It was at a festival, so they only had a certain amount of time that they could play. I'm pretty sure it was close to an hour and a half. I was tripping balls again. Different day than I saw John Lee Hooker. And by the fountain down here, I saw Gogol Bordello, and that was a fucking great show. They played for about an hour and a half also. That was at a festival too. I don't think that was the same one as the one I saw Ween or John Lee Hooker. Did I say I saw the Sex Pistols? Yeah, I saw the Sex Pistols in that arena too. That was at a festival also. We used to have great, great festivals in Seattle. Now they're like, eh. But in that arena right there, I saw Ween, and it was fucking great. I've seen Ween 5 times in the city, though. Hello, caller.
Hey, Michael, it's Daniel from Ohio. Just calling to say hi.
How's it going, Daniel?
It's going pretty good. You know, all things considered, going okay. I saw your title about how you were off the rails or something. I'm totally out of it today, and you don't seem so totally out of it. So I'm glad to see that you're not so totally out of it.
I just it was an earlier in the day thing. I started off the day and was like, whoa. I was like, what is happening? Why do I feel this way? So, and I try to put up something by midday to let people know there's going to be a show tonight, even though YouTube refuses to notify anyone. But I put something up in case people are looking, and that's just where I was coming from. Actually, I made a lot of things happen today. I worked out in the garden and got the dogs out for a nice walk, and made a few other things happen. So.
That's cool. That was what I wanted to ask you. I mean, we could talk for hours, but just probably a few minutes. But I was wondering if you were doing a garden. I've been tuned out of your show in a lot of the world for the last couple months, and so I haven't been around. But so I don't know if you're doing a show 5 days a week. But that was the main thought on my mind: is are you doing a garden this year?
Yeah, I have a nice backyard garden. It's really it's about, let's see. The flowers are about 6 weeks old, 7 weeks old, right in between there. So they're just a little over a foot tall, but I expect them over the next week to grow probably another 2 feet. 10 days or so, they'll grow another 2 feet or so, and then they're going to start.
Oh, a cannabis garden.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, that's cool. No, I like cannabis, but I was thinking a vegetable garden.
No, we have a very nice fruit stand down by about a block away. It's about a mile. It's about a mile away, and they have all the fresh vegetables a guy could ask for, and I'm sure they probably do a better job than I would. Although I'm hoping to grow really nice flowers.
Amen. Awesome. Yeah, I've only grown a cannabis plant to flower once in my life. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, out in a field in a property we owned, and I harvested it, but I never did anything good like y'all do. I just go to Denver and buy it, and I guess lately I've gone to Michigan because I haven't gone to Denver to buy it. So yeah.
Right on. Is Michigan closer or something?
Well, I'm in Ohio, and so, yeah, Michigan's a lot closer than Denver.
Well, it's nice that you have the option to buy. The reason that I encourage people to grow it mostly is that I have this theory that the cannabis imprints on you if you're growing it, so it kind of gives you the medicine that you need. Kind of makes the medicine that you need, which I'm sure you have a similar feeling about food if you're growing your own food. But also the thing is that I really like to encourage people to eat cannabis, and if you're getting it at the store, it can be difficult to afford to make your own butter, which is important to make your own butter because the edibles they have at the store are just weak ass shit, and they're made out of garbage that gets swept up off the floor, basically, that they can't sell to anybody, and they go, oh God, I wish we could do something with all this cannabis, and they go, edibles, so what I'm saying is that if you grow cannabis and it doesn't reach that perfect quality of, beautiful crystally buds to smoke, or even if it does and you have lots of it around, you grow a big plant or you grow 10 plants or whatever, then you make your own butter and you have proper edibles. And again, the flowers have imprinted on you, so they're giving you, in my belief system, what it is, my theory, what it is that you need most. So that's the main reason I encourage people to grow, so that they're able to eat as much cannabis as they really should be eating on a regular basis.
Yeah, no, I basically agree with everything you said. Like 7 or so years ago, I got real sick. I lost 20. You've heard the story, but I lost 25% of my body weight in 6 months, and was just in a really, really bad place. And actually, I've been trying to dig myself out of that hole since then. And we could talk for a week about the whole process, but in the process of being so sick, I figured cannabis would be helpful. And here in Ohio, it wasn't legal at all, and the laws in the country weren't friendly at all. And I tried to actually move up to Michigan a couple times. We went up there on like a dozen trips and looked at like many dozens of properties and made offers on properties and tried to get up to Michigan where it was legal for medicinal. And we never ended up getting up there. And everything you said is true. It's expensive to buy, good quality edibles. And I agree with the imprinting thing. Like, I don't know all the spiritual side of it, but I think there's a there that's that's significant. Like I eat a lot less meat these days, and sometimes I feel my body feels better eating less meat, but I'm not opposed to meat. But sometimes my body, I think, just feels better when I don't eat so much meat. But sometimes I really worry about the meat that I eat, because you drive across Texas. I've done a couple of road trips, and you see all these cattle yards, and you see these poor animals, and you just know that they basically live a shit awful life, and then you take that into your body. And I don't know. I don't know how karma works all the time. I don't know how all this spiritual stuff works, but it just doesn't seem right to like torture an animal and then eat its flesh. It seems like not ideal. It seems like if you had a choice, you'd live better than that if you could. And with cannabis, it's the same way. You could get some shit awful fucking stuff off the floor. Sorry for swearing. I keep trying not to swear, but I think this is a place where you don't believe in swear words, and so I hope this is a safe place to just talk. But
you can say whatever you want, man.
Well, most places aren't like that. Most places, they like throw stones at you and condemn you if you say the wrong word. So
I'm not here to condemn you, but if you say stuff I don't like, I'll probably challenge it. Or not like so much that I don't like it. Not so much that I don't like as that, I think is maybe possibly incorrect or something. I feel like you're leaving something out. I'm not here to just take anybody's opinion. It's a conversation. So if there's something that I disagree with, I will be sure to let you know.
Well, I like that. So the angels and the devils and my wife, they all know that the people I trust in the world most are the ones who are willing to question me and challenge me. Because if they're not willing to question me or challenge me, it's really hard to trust them. So
that makes a lot of sense. I agree.
Anyway, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. So Michigan cannabis. We never moved there, but that one plant I grew in my backyard, it was a field. We weren't living there. It was just an acre of property that was vacant, and we grew a plant 3 or 4 years ago, and I did harvest that. It wasn't a good flower to smoke, and I harvested it into edible, and that was the only time I ever did that myself. But I remember whatever refining it or whatever with the pure alcohol or whatever, and oh my goodness, I licked the bowl when I was done, and it's the highest I've ever been, because I didn't have any idea how much I was taking in, and I think it was like 12 hours. I was like overnight, and I couldn't walk. I've never been like that before. It was like, I don't know if you've ever been that high, but I've taken a lot of edibles and smoked a lot, and I've drank a lot, but I couldn't walk to the bathroom. I think I had to crawl to the bathroom that night, and I think for 12 or 15 hours I was basically almost in a coma. It was kind of scary, but kind of cool at the same time, and I don't think I'd ever want to take that much again.
Well, it's it's a matter of being used to it, and you take what you need. I mean, you don't. If you need to be very sedated, then you take what you need to be sedated. If you're in a lot of pain, you take what you need to help you deal with the pain. It's not a matter of taking too much. That's the nice thing about cannabis. It's not like somehow you're gonna OD on it or whatever. It's not like. Just because you're not walking right at the moment doesn't mean that you can't walk if you really wanted to or needed to, so.
Yeah, well, that was like an accidental overdose. I mean, it wasn't an OD like, dangerously medical, but it was, I don't know that I could have walked. That was the scary part is, I don't like to be out of control of my body. I mean, if I were dying, like, I'd do anything to be out of the pain or misery or whatever, but that, I like to be in control of myself, and that was the situation. That was the one time where I think if somebody broke into the house, I would, there was a vacant house. I was there by myself renovating the property, but if that was the one time where, I couldn't have snapped out of it. I pretty much would have just been, come in and take me kind of thing. So anyway.
Well, it was also, you're saying that you weren't really used to edibles, and that was the first time you made your own. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd had edibles, but like 10 milligrams here and 20 there and 30 there. But I maybe took 200 milligrams, like not knowing it, kind of thing.
The edibles,
licking the bowl, licking the honey.
The edibles you get at the store are not the same thing at all. It's like I said, you don't know what they're made of, blah blah blah. But when you're making your own, you know exactly what they're made of, and and you figure out what the right dose is eventually.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, every time you talked about work out in the garden, I thought you had vegetables. So, yeah, I mean, I know you grow pot. I thought you grew vegetables, too. But it makes sense if you got a good stand down the road that you'd let the people who know what they're doing do that, and you do your thing. And that's cool, your imprint on you kind of stuff. I wish I'd moved to – I wish I could grow my own, but, I'm here in Ohio right now. And so I'm either go to Michigan or go to Denver.
Yeah.
So that's –
Well, don't they have medical in Ohio? I thought they legalized weed in Ohio.
Yeah, but so, I mean, if you want to hear me start swearing and cursing and stuff, I could talk about it, but I tuned out of this mostly, but you know how this is, like in Ohio, it's the most cunty state I've heard in their legalization. They basically gave it to 5 businesses, right. And it's expensive as fuck, and it's basically it's the most cunty state of all the states I've heard of. I don't know all the details of all the states, but 2 years ago when Ohio was rolling it out and I was hearing all this debate and all this, it was basically just out of all the laws of all the states I'd heard, it was the cuntiest of all of them. And so,
so they're not,
there's this guy.
They're not letting you, I heard all about this, 6 people are going to get control of everything. I remember that. But they don't allow you to grow?
I don't know. I've not heard of anybody being legally, no, it's like controlled as fuck, 5 or 6, whatever, corporations, and it's expensive too. I mean, there was a guy a year ago who, he had some sort of chronic disease. I met him at church, and he had run out of bud, and I told him, well, I could help you out, because when I don't have any bud in my house, but a little bit of my grinder right now. I just passed through Denver, but I thought I'd go a little bit without bud because I used it so much, and my health's been a little bit better lately, and so I thought, well, let me just, let me not buy any more bud in Colorado this trip, and if I need some, I'll go up to Michigan or whatever. But a year ago, this guy at church was, chronically ill, and it's so expensive. I mean, the prices he was telling me was insane. Just I don't know, like 500 something an ounce or some crazy shit like that.
That's fucking idiotic, dude. I saw ounces listed on a local website, which is only a couple blocks from my house, a local retail store website, and they had ounces starting at $50. I was looking at it last night. So and
wow.
Then the good, not the top shelf, but the the good stuff. Yeah, the good stuff was like $110, $120. The top shelf stuff is like $220. You're saying $500? That's fucking idiotic, dude.
Yeah, 500 plus or something. It was like 550 or something, and the options are limited, because it's 5 people. Like like in Denver, that's where I bought most of it. Like on January 1, 2014, when it became legal, I was there with my wife and kids in Denver. I think I told you the story once, but I'd been sick that year before, and I told my wife, I said, hey, I think cannabis might help me with some of my sleep and muscle issues, which it did, and my appetite, and and so we were there on January 1, 2014, but there's so much variety, and there's so many people growing it, and there's just like a thriving whatever. And here in Ohio, it's 5 cunty businesses who paid the right people. Sorry to swear, and I don't mean to disparage people because they might not be cunty, but you see from my perspective, it just seems nonsense that 5 people who, how do you say, they bribed the right people, they paid off the right people,
right,
they whatever.
Right, it's not nonsense. You call it nonsense. It's not nonsense. It's corruption. And and that's not okay.
No, I agree. I mean, it's nonsense that we put. Like, as long as you and I have spoken, we've spoken of this. And before you and I ever spoke, you've spoken of this, and I've spoken of this. It's nonsense that you put people in prison for growing a plant. It's nonsense that you put people in prison for nonviolent offenses, and it's nonsense that the people who run the whole cartel and racket and those things, get away scot-free and run the show while people are sick and dying, and they have a plant in their pocket or their car or their house or a plant, and somebody fucking puts them in a prison. That is nonsense. That is,
it's
talk about the great
nonsense.
Satan.
Again,
I mean, an alien can come to this world and look at it and say, well, God, I don't know much about religion, but Jesus, if there was a great Satan, that those kind of people look like a great goddamn Satan to me. So sorry for swearing, but
It's not nonsense, though. Again, it's this whole, lockdown of the people, lockdown of their freedom. It's this program, man. This is why cannabis has been illegal for so long. And why in places where they say, oh, we're making it legal, they dole it out, these little droplets of a time. Oh, you can have medical. Oh, you can, I mean, in Washington State, cannabis has been legal here for 8 years. Recreational cannabis. But you can't grow it. Okay? I grow it. Fuck this state. Okay, but I've been...
Are you serious? I thought you could grow it legally.
In Washington State, unless you have a medical permit, you cannot grow it, and the doctor tells you how many plants you can grow.
Well, so yeah, obviously I think that's crazy. And in Ohio, you said, well, isn't it legal here? Well, it is legal, and I have been very sick. I mean, I got pictures of fucking worms that have come out of my body. Basically, I have all the studies that show I'm sick, but the doctors say, no, you're healthy, take these antidepressants, and I haven't taken them, but the doctors seem batshit crazy, but basically, I'm not about to go to a doctor and ask permission to take a plant, and so, yeah, it's legal medicinally here, and I could probably find a doctor that would give me a script for it, but I'll be damned if I'm going to pay $5.50 an ounce for it, and I'll be damned if I go ask a doctor for permission for it either, because, I mean, I don't want to say damned like in a Christian kind of biblical sense, just, and kind of like talking to another guy in the bar kind of sense. Fuck that shit, like, I'm not going to somebody to ask permission. I mean, so to be honest, Mox, when I take antibiotics, no doctor has ever prescribed it, even though I have CT scans showing swollen liver. This is before I ever drank, by the way. Like, this is going back 6-7 years before I drank. And infection all over my body. And I finally paid $1,300. I told you the story already, but, $1,300 to a doctor who was off the grid doctor. And he looked at all my shit, and he's like, they haven't even prescribed you antibiotics yet? And I'm like, no, they just keep offering me antidepressants. And he's like, dude, your CT scan shows infection all over your body, dude. You're fucking dying. You got, like, Lyme disease. You got, like, co-infections with Lyme disease. And so basically, if I want antibiotics, I buy fish antibiotics at the store because, the doctors don't prescribe it to me. And so, so if I'm buying fish antibiotics to treat infection in my body, I'm not going to go to the fucking doctors and ask permission for marijuana. So anyway.
Well, it's not a matter of asking. Like I said, in this state, you can't grow unless you're medical. So and basically no one goes to the doctor to buy cannabis, to be able to buy cannabis here anymore, because there's a fucking recreational store in every corner. So if you want, you don't need a medical. Although if you are a medical patient, you get like 10% off the price of the cannabis. So because it's like a tax thing, you're not supposed to pay tax on your medicine or whatever. So they give you a break on that. But really what the doctor's doing is they're giving you permission to grow your own plants, grow your own medicine at home. That's the way I see it. It's not, although back in the day, when I was having trouble with the law, and they were, saying that we have the right to piss test you, I got a cannabis, medical cannabis reference, and so when they told me to go do the substance abuse training or whatever it was, I went there and they said, "What drugs do you use?" And I said, "Cannabis." And they said, "Well, you're not supposed to use cannabis." And I said, "That's not what my doctor said." And I showed them the form, and they said, "We've never seen one of these before. I need to show this to my boss." And they took the medical script to her boss, and the boss was like, "I've never seen one of these before." And they stopped fucking with me. It was like, "Well, no, you don't have a problem. It's medicine," and it always has been medicine, and that's a big part of the problem in this country, in this world, is like I was just saying about Bill Gates wanting to spread modern medicine around the world. That's not what people need. People know all kinds of places to get medicine that Bill Gates would never fucking imagine. And so it's this modern, I honestly believe that modern medicine is I believe that it took years off my mother's life. So, she was always at the doctor, and they were always giving her more and more pills. And I don't think that's a healthy thing. And I'll stay away from the doctor as much as I can. So I understand where you're coming from. But like I said, it's not so much a doctor gives you permission to have weed. Also, that's another thing, is a doctor does give you permission to have weed. So if you do have a problem with the law, you can say, it's like a very important protection level where the police can't fuck with you, and if they do, you will immediately have an attorney saying, "Yeah, we got you covered, no problem," because this is the law and the police are breaking it. So
those are good points, because you could be as right as you want to be, but if somebody's got a bigger stick, the fact that you're right doesn't change the fact that they got a bigger stick and they're going to beat the shit out of you with it. And so Jesus, I know this. I guess this is. I know you guys. I don't know. Well, once upon a time, it was written that Jesus said, "Agree with your enemy when you be in the way with him, lest thou be cast into prison. And when you're cast into prison, what good are you going to do?" And so Jesus wasn't saying like, lay down in bed and fuck your enemy. He was just saying, hey, if somebody's about to beat you with a stick, it's not a bad idea to try to follow their rules so you don't get your ass beat, kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, Jesus wasn't about following the rules when he went in and turned over all the tables. Jesus wasn't a whole lot about following rules, as far as I could tell.
Amen. Yeah, that's the way the story goes. The beginning and the end of his ministry, he turned over the tables and then some. So, yeah. And then they crucified him. So, you know the story pretty well. So, anyway.
Well, it's good to hear that you're doing okay, Daniel.
Yeah, hey, Mike, sorry I've been out of touch for a while, but when I tuned in today, it was good to hear you. I was a little bit sad to see you sad, but as I listened to you, you cheered me up, and it's good to hear you, and good to see the folks on your chat, and hope everybody's doing well. So
yeah, there's a lot of nice people in this community, so I'm looking forward to talking again soon, okay?
All right. Thanks, Mox. Have a good evening.
You too.
We'll see you.
Okay, so I have a couple more videos to play for you all. And I want to get to them before it gets to be too much later in the day. Let's see. Oh, we played the sea snot one. I thought the sea snot one was pretty interesting. Let's see. Swimming rat. We played the swimming rat one, right? I thought that was pretty interesting too. This is a very interesting show, in case you haven't noticed. And that's the way it is all the time, people. So if you're not here, you're definitely missing out. Let's see, what didn't we play yet? Oh, the diamond rush that's going on. That's very interesting video. Are you interested in calling? Because I'd love to take a telephone call. This is pretty much, I have like just a couple of videos left. Before we see the diamond rush, and I think this is very connected, I want to take just a second here and play the white privilege card, because I can. I think that these things are very connected.
Trump won the election. Among the suspect's possessions, this is real, a white privilege card. I want you to take a look at this. It's a fake white privilege credit card. Subtitle, Trump's everything. The card holder, scot-free, with 2 T's. Scot-free is actually spelled with 1 T, but, you know, 2 T's on that card. That one piece of evidence, an insight into the man's state of mind, that he can get away with anything because of his skin color.
Let's see. So, I have one video left. I play these little clips just in case, so I can say, hey, I have one video left, and then maybe people will want to call in this little bit of space of time because they still have a chance to do so. And the telephone number is right there on the screen, 805-669-6397. Why would we put it on the screen if we didn't want to talk with you? If we didn't want you to call, we would never put the phone number up. You can go and you can look at 99.9% of the other live streamers on YouTube and see if they have their telephone number up on the screen so that you can call and have an actual discussion with them instead of typing, 20 characters or 140 characters or whatever the bullshit is and trying to have a discussion that way. Because I know that you're used to communicating in this fashion now, where nobody actually talks on the phone. They just send each other text messages back and forth. That's not what this show is about. And I don't think it ever will be. I'm really not interested in communicating in that form. I don't have a cell phone. So I'm not sending text messages back and forth. I answer emails. They tend not to look like text messages. I tend to ramble on and ramble on and ramble on. But that's the only way that I actually do texting at all. I'm not, every once in a while I'll answer a comment on one of the videos, mostly to say thank you. Other than that, I'm not a big texter. I'm not really into this way of communicating. I like talking to people. I like being able to, not get misunderstood because you write something in a text that you think is funny and the next thing you know, people are calling you an evildoer, because they don't get your humor. Which I don't really have that problem. I'm not comfortable with it. I'm just not comfortable with communication through, typing. Unless you were writing a book and then shipping it out to everybody, or downloading it to everybody so that you have this whole complete thought and, you can make happen whatever it is you want to make happen that way. Because, again, if we have this conversation, then I can hear your perspective. And I can respond to your perspective. I can agree with your perspective. I can disagree, or if you agree with my perspective or disagree with my perspective or would like to respond to my perspective, you have the opportunity to do that also.
Hello?
Hello?
Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Super Bullshit Tron. We are out here. We're saving fucking fish from killer fucking whales. And we're saving tunas and seals. These murder whales are murdering the entire fucking ocean. And Super Bullshit Tron, I'm out here. I'm fucking throwing whales on my fucking shoulder. Fucking like a boombox and shit. Legit fucking throwing whales on my shoulder like a boombox. I'm not fucking around with these whales. They're out here fucking murdering fucking innocent seals and fucking shrimp and shit, and it's pissing me off.
Hey, Craig.
And I tell you what, dude. What?
We need a river. We need a van. We need a van.
I'm out here in the fucking middle of the goddamn ocean currently.
We can hear that.
And I'm fucking saving the fucking day right now for murder whales. These killer whale fuckers, these half black, half white ass fucking whales out there in the ocean just murdering fucking tuna fish.
That's a
They're
good.
murdering
That's a good
fucking
point. How come they're not
lobster.
called? Or how come they're not called Oreo whales? Because I
no
mean they're
shit.
black and white, right? They should be.
Well, you know, I will tell
I'm
you.
really surprised
I'll tell you.
Oreos hasn't made this a giant campaign thing for themselves. How can they not?
Well,
It fucking builds itself. It writes itself. What is wrong with Oreos? Go ahead.
Okay. Since I'm super bullshit, Tron, I will fucking tell you currently, Michael, I'm out here fucking letting you know that, in fact, the reason why Oreos is not fucking doing that is because these fucking goddamn murder whales, they're half black and half white, cream-filled shit, is fucking out here just murdering the entire fucking ocean world, and nobody even cares. And that's why Oreo can't get into this fucking dilemma currently, because it's a really serious situation, especially with all the fucking, you know, batshit slime in the ocean and shit. That, and I swear to God, dude, the slime, it's probably because the fucking goddamn murder whales, aka fucking.
What, are you on a
Oreo.
frickin' mountain peak or something? You have no shelter? Are you just standing out in the elements? Why the fuck is...
fucking out here in the middle of the goddamn ocean. I just murdered a fucking murder whale, the AKA Oreo whales, AKA killer whales. These sons of bitches, we're gonna make them into some fucking Oreo whales. We're gonna fucking, these sons of bitches need to fucking understand that they can't be out here killing anything in the ocean. Okay, these killer whales, they need to be stopped.
They only kill salmon.
For 'em.
They only kill salmon.
They fucking feel extremely sorry for these killer whales, but they're out there just murdering shit. They're throwing seals like fucking volleyballs.
No,
and
that's
everybody
not
fucking
the whales.
loves
The
it.
whales don't do that. The whales don't mess with the seals. It's the sharks.
Bullshit! They slither up on land. I swear to fucking God, if I was on land right now and on the beach, a fucking murder whale, killer fucking Oreo bitch whale could just slither right up and just fucking eat me and just throw me up in the air and just like toss me down like fucking little snack. These sons of bitches, and everybody fucking thinks this is cool. And it's great. It's not great. There is fish in the ocean that have lives too, and their lives matter. Okay? And these murder whales and their homies, the murder hornets, they're fucking a bunch of bitches. And I'm out here, this is super bullshit, Tron, in the middle of the fucking goddamn murder fucking whale hornet zone, fucking taking these sons of bitches out, really doing something for the world. I gotta go.
Good.
Michael, we're doing it.
Well, Steve sounds like he's having a nice... I'm sorry, super bullshit Tron sounds like he's having a nice time in his van down by the river. I'm sorry, out at sea. His van out at sea. Let's see. I have a video about a diamond rush going on, which I found very interesting. I thought that you might find it interesting. I think visually it's somewhat mind-blowing. So I thought I'd play that for you, and I will be right back. That is clip number 8, people. Clip number 8.
More than 1,000 fortune seekers have flocked to a village in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province to dig for what they believe to be diamonds after a discovery of unidentified stones in the area. The diamond rush started on Saturday after a local herder made a find in an open field. Irina Iyengar reports.
Jubilation at the discovery of gems in the village of Kwahlati in KwaZulu-Natal province. Fortune seekers believe these gems could change their lives.
I've never seen or touched a diamond in my life. It's my first time touching one here. I hope this will make a difference at home because we're really struggling, so I hope things will be better.
But are they diamonds or quartz crystals? That's yet to be determined. South Africa's Mines Department is sending a team of geological and mining experts to the site to analyse the stones. And the provincial government has tried to stop the digging, saying it's illegal mining activity. Illegal or not, there's a brisk trade in these stones by those hoping to make some money. Many here struggle to earn a living. South Africa's unemployment rate is running at 32%. Youth unemployment is at a record high. After pictures and videos of the gems circulated on social media, people have travelled from all over South Africa to come here. And this is what it means.
This means our lives will change because no one had a proper job. I only do odd jobs. When I returned home with the stones, the family was really overjoyed.
This will really help the community. We hope crime will come to an end, especially crimes against women, because the youth do all these things because of unemployment.
Police are keeping a watch on events. The provincial government has asked the diggers to leave. They've also suggested that people here could be spreading coronavirus. For now, the opportunity to make money from the ground is a more pressing concern. Aruna Iyengar, BBC News.
Let's see. That was almost my last video. It's nice to see people. I don't know. It looked like those people were just being stole from to me. You know, they got these rocks that are of this super value, and here's this douchebag with $20 going, "Hey, I'll trade you, you know, basically food for this rock that's worth a whole bunch of money." What is up, Jay?
What up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Oh, man. Listen, I know your show's about to close, so I'm about to tell y'all some breaking news.
Okay.
I just ate my wife out in the garage.
Lucky.
I know, right? It's amazing, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a brutal. Listen, look.
You trying to make us all jealous or something?
Well, first off, you gotta get a wife if you want to. Well, I don't know. You got people eating people these days. I have no fucking idea. But listen, man. Let me tell you something, man. Ain't nothing like eating Detroit Puna.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm telling. I'm going to prison for this. I'm just. Hey, man, it's my wife. Anyway, I'm drunk. I know you're about to get off. I don't want to embarrass the show. I love your flavor, my brother. But, yeah, man, listen, man. She came to the garage, the door was open, and I was like, all right. And, boom, it was on. It was like, 2 or 3 licks, toes curled. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I don't talk about that no more.
It sounds like it's like I said. It sounds like you're trying to make us all jealous.
Well, it's nothing like that. No, man. But oh yeah, but I tell you what, man, I ain't brushing my teeth tonight.
Excellent.
I am so sad for Colin and behaving this way. You know, I do not behave this way.
You behave however you want to behave. You know that's what I believe in, dude.
Oh yeah, man. But I'm going to the weed store tomorrow.
Again?
Right? Yeah. Check this up, man. You know, like this shit, like a grocery store. You build points up.
Yeah.
Right. So I think I got like $40, $60, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm leaving with something for free tomorrow.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, man. But besides that, man, I can't complain.
Hey, did
I don't
you
even know what's going on. Oh, with the Putin thing. I don't know what's going on with that, man. I have no idea.
Did you
Yeah.
did you see last week Jackie Cat put a link in the chat for people? I was showing off my new pipe. Did you see my new pipe?
No, man.
Yeah,
I'm about to check it out.
I got a new piece of glass, and it's actually I bought it like in September, so it's been sitting on the shelf for quite some time. But I was showing it off last week, and Jackie Cat put in the chat where you could buy the glass that I have, because I buy glass from this place in China, and it's like this piece of glass that I have right here that I just opened up, and I got like last September, cost $20. Of course, I had a $10 off coupon, but still $30 in the United States. This banger part right here, just the bowl, is going to cost you $20. The rest of the pipe is going to cost you over $100. So if you're looking for some nice quality glass at a really good price. What's that?
I said I'll hit you up then.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I go to the spot here, just to get my little weed or whatever, or my medicine, I was looking at like their stuff. It was like $300-$400 for like a little small ball.
Yeah, no, man. Look, I'll send you a link, and I'll show you what it is that I got a few months ago, which I'm very happy with. But there'll be tons of stuff, and you'll see almost nothing. I mean, everything you can imagine glass-wise, and almost nothing costs $100. This, like I said, this one I just got for $20, or I got in September for $20. Here in the States is going to cost you like $150 plus. So. And that's like not in some state where, it's only medical. So, and you don't want to buy your glass at the dispensary, dude. So anyways, I'll send you the website on where to get it. And you can trust me on stuff like that. I bought like 5 pieces of glass from them in the last 5 years. And every one has been pretty much everything I hoped it would be. So.
All right, man. Well, hey, brother, I appreciate it. But I just chimed in at the last minute. But dude, real talk.
Yeah.
Wifey got 8 out in the garage.
and Jackie Cat did just put a link in the chat. So if you're able to see the chat right now and you're looking to get some glass, you go there and you type in glass bong, and you'll have like hundreds and hundreds of different selections, and they'll be like at prices that will blow your freaking mind.
Bet, man. I'm about to check it out, man.
All right.
All right, Mox. Listen, man. Now remember, that was Detroit pussy I was talking about. My wife, baby. Woo-wee. Oh, Jesus.
Trust me. Trust me.
All right, everybody. Good night. God bless. Have a good day.
All right. give your wife a kiss for me. You know where. And trust me, when somebody says something about pussy, I don't forget. That being said, again, if Jackie Cat just put a link into the place where I get my inexpensive glass that's at a good, very good quality. I don't want to say high quality because there are some glass blowers in the world that do amazing things. But the quality of what I'm getting is very, very good. And over the last 5 years, I probably bought 5 different bongs from them in 5 years. And I've never actually been disappointed by a single one. So, and they all cost like 1/10 of what you pay somewhere else in the United States at a bong shop, and that's a head store. So if you want, the link is right there. Jackie Cat just put it up if anybody wants to see it. Otherwise, I only have one video left to play, which is actually related to having a nice piece of glass.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am? You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
The real sticky icky. All right, so let's see. I'm all out of videos, and I don't have any phone callers. And I came here to take fat dabs and talk with phone callers and play videos. I don't think I got that right. Play videos, talk to callers, and smoke fat dabs. That's it. And I'm all out of videos, and I don't have any phone callers. So that means we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back tomorrow. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. And it's always better when you're here, so please remember that. I look forward to seeing you then. So until then, stay cool, because one of these days, this war is gonna end. Bag. One of these days, this war, and you know that was a South Park thing, right? They did a whole episode called the F word, and everybody who rode around on these Harleys were Fs, and it makes sense. So if South Park can do it, I can do it too. Again, we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back tomorrow, same Mox time, same Mox channel. Until then, stay cool, because one of these days, this war is gonna end. Stay cool till then.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits.